The reality in virtual reality. Those split-second decisions. The sheer raw ability. Don't let the simulation detract from the racing. This is racing. This is FDSR. Hello everybody and welcome back to Final Drive Sim Racing. It's a Thursday night and it's the halfway point of the season, which means we are in for our long endurance race this evening, which is 2 hours of entertainment. And we are at the hallowed ground of Silverstone this week. And there you go, just confirmation there for you, just in case you didn't believe me. We are here, and so 15-minute qualifying, a 120-minute race. That's 2 hours for those of you who don't know your minutes. And we have variable weather as well today, so we are expecting some rain today. Typical British summer weather there. Having visited Silverstone several times, I can vouch for that. So your comm team, I would say as always, but is back tonight. Is myself, Luke Dugdale, and Aaron Markham, all three of us here for this epic long endurance race, midpoint of the season. The boys couldn't miss it. We're reunited and it feels so good. Welcome along, gentlemen. How are we feeling today?
Thanks for having us. Feeling good.
Yeah, good evening.
Feeling excited for this.
Good. We're glad to be back. We're feeling refreshed.
We're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back, even if you did forget about us last week. But there we are. The less said about that, the better. No, joke. All good. So, gentlemen, yeah, here we are, Silverstone. Great track. very technical, high speed. There's a reason it's one of the favourite tracks for most categories that you see sort of day to day. So looking forward to this one. It's going to be exciting. Not easy to overtake, but should have plenty of close racing action, I reckon.
Yeah, it proved to be a bit of a challenge in terms of overtaking on Tuesday, but seemed relatively easy to follow another car. I know sometimes the guys complain about getting a bit of an aero wash, but for the most part, I think everyone was able to follow each other, and it was actually quite cagey, wasn't it? I think if anyone had any experience with defending, it was you, Mike, wasn't it?
A little bit, yeah. We'll get into that in a sec. But first of all, let's look at how, and there's no other word for it, how pornographic this second half of the season is. I mean, Silverstone into Suzuka, into Nürburgring, into Imola, into Mazzano. I mean, Dougie, that gives us, epic racing, doesn't it, for the final 5 races of this season.
It's given me a great reason to come back. That's what it has. Yes, it is a very exciting end to the season.
You heard it here first. The only reason he's come back is because the calendar's good. Nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with our company.
Nothing to do with the racing. Nothing to do with comms team. Just the calendar's decent.
Just the calendar is absolutely brilliant. You heard it here first, folks. Straight from the horse's mouth. But yeah, no. Jokes aside, it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely does. I'm excited.
Which is exactly where we want to be. So, you heard my colleague, Mr. Aaron Markham, alluding to a bit of action there. So what I've done with the highlights for 2 Sprint Tuesdays, as they've become dubbed this week, is I've done them without any comms, so we can talk about them as we watch. So you boys will be able to see this on your screen as well, and we can just have a little chat about it. So let's just have a quick look, just get the intro out of the way. So race 1 started then, Foster on pole position, but it wasn't long until he wasn't in first position, as a very, very quick Bart Tonks was challenging him straight off the bat on the green light. And you see the Ferrari of Tickner going flying off in the background there and going a million miles an hour towards the barrier, but he did manage to carry on, which was good. So this is Foster then challenging, and then Foster just a little dab of the brakes to the corner, and they get absolutely cleaned up by the fellow Honda of Balsillie, and then a very strange snap there from Simpson, I think it was, in the McLaren. And then these were the 2 battles that went on for the entire race. You had the battle for the lead, which was Tonks versus Dehaan in the 2 BMWs, and then Porsche versus Honda NSX then on your bottom screen, which is me. So it's lucky I like the NSX, because basically from the end of lap 1 to the end of the race, that is what I could see was the back. And every time I had a better exit out of any corner, you'll see I pulled out, and all of a sudden I had no top speed and the Honda would just pull away. And there was a couple of times where I had such a better exit out of the Mangetts and Beckett's complex to go down the back straight, and just absolutely no chance of getting past him. He defended absolutely brilliantly and he was superb. But Tonks bringing home a win. He looks absolutely brilliant, and he's really competitive tonight as well in the server, which is really great to see. And I ended up behind Davis and finished in 6th position. Brilliant drive from Davis, though, to keep me behind for the entire race. And this was race 2 then. I'm starting in 2nd position behind Balsillie. It's a great bit of driving through the first couple of corners, everybody keeping it nice and clean. And it feels a little bit like the Mike Bullen show, but unfortunately I was involved in the most action. So I'm not,
I thought you were going to say unfortunately it is.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that as well, but no, I mean, I was just involved in so much action, so believe me, I'm not just all that self-involved, but it was just brilliant racing. So as you can see, great racing behind there between Tickner and Barnard as well, getting proper close in the 2 Ferraris. Really, really good to see. It was proper close racing all the way through the race, and you'll see that now coming up in the next couple of clips. As we see, I'm about to make a small mistake coming through turn 1. There we go. Off I go. Whee! And so that allowed Reed to get past me and up into 2nd place, and then I just had to tuck in behind and try and follow these guys through, which I managed to do. And then on the next lap, Reed does what I did, but a little bit better, and goes off twice. which was great for me because that allowed me to get back through. But what that incident created, as you're about to see, is some of the best racing I've ever been involved in my life. So Reed's mistake backed him up. Tickner follows me through, as you can see. Now he goes to the inside. Reed breaks a lot later to go around the outside with 3 wide all the way through the right-hander. And then they duck back in, and then Barnard's getting involved in the back of it as well. And how I didn't hit anybody in that sequence of events, I do not know. I'm thankful I didn't, because it was absolutely epic to be involved in. But this battle went on for 20 minutes straight. The entire race was just the 4 of us battling and jostling for position. Great move there from Reedbury. Couldn't hold it on long enough on the brakes, and Tickner had the inside for the next corner. And this just went on and on and on, and these guys battled away behind me. And luckily, because they spent so much time battling each other, I could just, as long as I kept it clean, I could just keep them behind, which is basically how the race finished. But it was just absolutely epic to be involved in. But Scott Balsidy came home to take his second win of the season, as he took one of the wins around Zandvoort as well. And there's me coming home for a podium, my first of the season. My first on ACC in God knows how long, and keeping those 3 very, very fast guys behind me. So I was like a pig in poo. I was absolutely delighted with that. So that was our 2-sprint Tuesday this week. So yeah, I thought it'd be a bit more interactive to talk about it live, guys, and rather than put some sort of pre-recorded commentary over it. But it was great fun to be involved in. Aaron, I mean, take us through it from your point of view. I mean, you had obviously a different experience to what I did. That was it, sort of, from my point of view, not intentionally, but I was involved in a lot of action. How did you find it, Aaron?
Yeah, I just existed for 40 minutes really, and I think that sums up my Tuesday night. No, it was class. To be honest, I wish I went to the front for race 2, because what some of the guys do, we start in qualifying order still for race 2, but some of the quicker guys drop back, and for some reason I just thought I'll drop to the back, and Mike took the opportunity to go to the front and got a podium from it. So I wish I just did that, I'd have been fine. But it was the most competitive I've been in a Porsche. I had the pleasure of being behind Mike for a little bit, albeit a couple of seconds behind, before I had some clangers at Maggots and Beckett. But it was everybody who I raced with, even the people, you were racing the quick guys at the front of Lloyd and Luke and what have you, the people that we regularly praise and often see at the top of the leaderboards. I spent time racing with Matty, with Paul, with Dan Stevens, the guys who would regularly turn up, and no slouches themselves often find themselves in the top 6 on their day in their car. It was just great fun to actually be competitive, and so rewarding when we put a little bit of time in on the Sunday to practice, and you reap the rewards. Mike got a podium, I smashed it in. Even though it was P9 and P8, I absolutely loved it, and it's the first time in a long time I've come away feeling unbelievably satisfied, and I didn't even finish in the top 5. It was class. I'd highly recommend that more people come and take part on a Tuesday. It's just so much fun and so laid back, and the environment, even with all the boys, just talking away, just chatting away, it's so much fun. It's just so good, and seeing your teammate do something like that and pull off a P2, that made me so happy as well. It was like a proud son moment for me. Mike is my adopted father in terms of sim racing.
Oh, there's a title for you, adopted father. Wow. No, I mean, it was great fun, absolutely great fun. And to be fair, I did that. I sort of thought, right, well, I'll start at the front, because I just expected to get picked off. But fortunately, like I said, we'd put that bit of practice in, and the Porsche was hooked up. We had a good setup, and it just all fell into place. And although I wasn't as quick as the guys behind me, I certainly had enough pace to keep them there, because it's a difficult track to overtake at, as we said. So yeah, anyway, that's enough about the Mike Bullen show. But no, it was absolutely epic. Really, really good fun. Great racing. Absolutely loved every second of it. Yeah, can't wait for the next one. But what do you reckon, Doug? Have we persuaded you with all that wonderful talk to come out of retirement on ACC and come and join us on a Tuesday? What do you reckon?
I was actually just about to say, I feel like I should dip in a little bit and give it a go and see how well I fare, or
Yeah,
how badly I fare, either one.
you need to rejoin us. That is for sure. So we've got our drivers set up again today. I think I've managed to get most people in. The only person I haven't got is Miller's, which is fine. We can do without Miller's this week. So we've got Mooney, we've got Morris. This is a new feature, Doug, you wouldn't have seen, is that I've got driver streams in the corner as well, so we can see a bit more action. And we've got Foster as well, but... yeah, so we've got a bit of extra now, a bit of extra entertainment. So it worked a treat in week one, didn't it, Aaron? Because there was lots of battling going on with the other drivers, so we could keep an eye on two things at once. Last week it was a little bit of a nullified race by the track layout more than anything, wasn't it? But hoping this week will give us some sexy action.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It sort of acts as well as like a 10-second delay replay. So if we miss anything, we've got the live action to just quickly flick back and look at to make sure we haven't missed anything.
Yep.
We've got plenty of replays to die for it.
In effect, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it gives us, like I say, it's all just that little bit extra in it, and it adds that bit of value and gives the people an opportunity to have a bit more screen time as well, because we don't get the opportunity to show everyone as much as we would like to. I'd love to divvy it out, everybody gets 5 minutes, but unfortunately that's just not racing, is it? If somebody's pitting around on their own 30 seconds in front of the car behind you, 30 seconds behind the car in front, it's not great to watch. So unfortunately not everybody does get the screen time, and we do miss things. At the end of the day, we're only human, but this is just a way of us getting as much action out there as possible for you guys. So back to today then. There's a couple of minutes left in practice, and then we'll be into qualifying, and then our 2-hour race will begin. Going to be interesting, Aaron, isn't it? We were talking to the drivers after the race. A lot of drivers saying their tyres were going off before the 20-minute race was up. Not something I had trouble with in the Porsche, but we haven't got any Porsches out there, or not many, if any. One, I think. We've got one Porsche, which is a newcomer, Chris Carr. But yeah, tyre wear appeared to be a problem, and if tyres are going to be going off in less than 20 minutes, could see a multi-stop race perhaps here.
Yeah, it seemed to be the BMWs and the Honda that was struggling the most, and I agree with you, I didn't really have a problem. I did have a little bit of the left rear overheating, but nothing too untoward and nothing unexpected for Silverstone. I think it could just be a case of maybe those guys need to have a bit more conservative driving. I don't know if it could be setup related. We had a pretty sort of lax anti-roll bar, I suppose, and even then we weren't really getting much tyre wear. So I don't know. It might be that the guys need to run a bit more stiffer to try and reduce the loading on that left rear. Could be a multitude of things, really. I think the rain, though, Mike, could actually save these guys who were struggling with tyre wear, because at the end of the day, the wet tyres seem pretty bulletproof when we've ran them at Watkins Glen, and even in practice we had a little go in the Thursday night practice server, and the wet tyres are almost impossible to blow up and destroy and melt, so it could be a case of these guys just hanging on for dear life until the rain comes.
Yeah, very true. And to be fair, I hadn't thought of that, and that's actually a really good point. Is that when the rain comes, obviously, if it comes, at the right time, it could potentially make a huge difference to this race, couldn't it? It could be the difference between Doug, people are having to make multiple stops because of tyre wear, or just having to stop naturally, to get onto the right tyre at the right time.
Definitely, I think if you time it right, I think we might see a couple of drivers time it really right tonight and gain a lot from what Aaron was saying. Or you could see some drivers massively lose out if they have to make multiple stops, like you were saying, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing about this race is something that I actually like, is that they've taken the ballast away for the long endurance race, so there is no ballast out there today. I like that personally. I think it's all, there's no excuse, there's no, my car's heavy, especially in such a long race. You want the fastest guys to be out there competing with each other, so it's just raw consistency is what's going to win this race today. So ballast not applicable for today, but these changeable conditions, and we've tested the server. Even Aaron and myself tested it on Sunday, and there is rain. So it's a pretty strong chance. ACC works quite realistically in that front, in that it does give you a little bit of ambiguity. You don't know for sure it's going to rain just because those settings are in there. As you can see, it's bright sunshine at the moment, but it is changeable. So if it does rain, that will add plenty of excitement. I'm really excited for this, boys. I think it's going to be really, really entertaining. So usual suspects out there. Ash Humphreys doing particularly well in practice. He's up in 5th, so that's good for him. Just having a quick run through the field, having a look. Tell me if you see anybody you want to talk about, boys, or if you see anybody out of position or anything, then let me know.
I believe we have a change of car for one of our drivers tonight, don't we?
Yes. Remind me, I think that was Tickner, wasn't it? Is it Tickner?
It might be. I know that Tickner had swapped previously.
Yes, Tickner had swapped, yes, and now he's in the Ferrari, so he's swapped twice now. So he starts again on 0. So yeah, he starts again on 0. So the drivers are just going out to get their tyre warm-ups done, ready for their first flying laps. So before we get to that, let's have that's the calendar. We've seen that. So this is the 2 Sprint Tuesdays table at the moment. Lloyd Reid leading that by a fair amount from Ash Humphreys, with Adam Foster in 3rd. And you'll see there, if you notice really closely, that I'm beating Aaron as well. So there we are. That's just to stick one to Aaron.
My aim is to be top 10. I do that, I'm happy.
I've got a lot more experience on this software. I am literally teasing, but anyway, just so the folks at home don't think I'm a complete arse. This is the power rankings for that league as well. So Foster way out in front on that one as well. Wes has missed the last couple of races as well. But I'm on the board. Look, I've finally got a podium, so I'm on the board, which I'm pleased with. So this is the drivers for the league we're looking at tonight. So this is the main championship, of course. Drop scores will kick in properly after this race, so these standings will all change. And tonight, being the long endurance, sorry if I can get my words out, is double points. So don't forget that. All these drivers that have made the effort tonight, you just got to finish the race and you get double points. So even if you finish in last, you're getting double points compared to what you would normally get. So it's worth completing the race, even if you have a disaster. But Kingston with a commanding lead at the moment, which is what is it? 35 points ahead. Sorry, was that a quick maths there? Of Evans. Evans, a bit of a surprise here, up in 2nd at the moment, doing a great job. Not to be critical, just we weren't quite expecting him to be on the pace the way he has been. He's really surprised us this season and has driven very, very well. And it's great to see the Welshman up there in 2nd, with Foster rounding up that top 3, recovering after a disastrous start. And I'm sure he'll welcome those drop scores kicking in ASAP, because he's basically got nigh on 2 zeros from the opening 2 rounds, because it did not go well for him. The Teams Championship sees South Coast still leading from Baltec, with Team Dash in 3rd. And we've then got our power rankings. Sorry, that's a little bit out of place. There you go. Foster still leading that as well from Kingston. So you can see Foster's had the pace, he's had the podiums, he's had the fastest laps, he's had the poles, but he hasn't been able to translate it into enough points when it's mattered. And the positions lost and gained. Evans with a fantastic 34 positions gained over the races so far this season, based on his starting position. Kingston not far behind there with 31. Matt Heaton with 28. Dan Stevens 27. Wellborn 25. Lloyd Reid 20. Tickner 20. So great gains from those drivers. And you can see the ones that have not had it their way this season. Mooney at the bottom there, he's lost 46 positions this season. Adam Foster 31. Rich Arnold 27. It's not going to plan for those guys. So that's your tables. Back to the live action then. Let's see where we are. Who is on lap? Foster is usually first out, because he's usually first in the server to activate it. She's probably going to be the first across the line. He's coming up towards the finish line now, and he will probably be the first to set a time for us. Looks like it's going to be just under 2 minutes. If I had to guess, it's a 58.6. That's a very, very good opening lap. Bierkhaus with also a 58.6, just ahead of him then on pole. So great couple of opening laps there. Barnard crosses the line with a 59.1. Ash Humphreys, who's just done an early 59, in practice, still getting his tyres up to temp. He does a 2-minute flat. Rich Arnold pops into 6th there. Balsili into 5th. Lloyd Reed's got himself up to 3rd at the moment with a 58.8. That's quicker than what he was doing on Tuesday, so he's found a bit of pace since the Sprint League on Tuesday. It's good for Lloyd, who's having a great season. He's getting better and better every season. And Brown, a new driver, not one we've seen before, but straight in the Aston Martin, up into 3rd. So it looks like we've got another player, another one capable of pulling off some great lap times, which is great to see. Bart Tonks is one to watch out for today. He was very, very quick on Tuesday. Quick in practice here today as well, so I'm hoping he's going to be very competitive out there in that BMW. The BMW looks a really strong car around here, doesn't it, boys? It compared to what it has other parts of this season.
Yeah, kind of surprising really, because, well, I mean, usually the BMW excels in the tracks where bumps are a bit of a feature, obviously because of it being a front-engine car. But even still, it's got plenty of oomph, and I suppose, as much as we manage to find time in the corners, it's still a bit of a power-heavy track, which the BMW has plenty of. So I suppose I've got to backtrack on my statement. No surprise to see the BMW doing well. Interesting to see only Luke in P5 in the Ferrari. I was expecting, I suppose Tickner hasn't done a time yet, but
Jumped up to 3rd now, Luke.
I see. Yeah, just I'm expecting the Ferraris to be up there. Hondas are always the usual suspects, but Brown in the Aston Martin, now that is a surprise.
Well, he was purple by half a second then, and as you saw, he just exposed track limits. Exposed. That's not the right word.
He exposed himself to the track limits.
He did, and the track limits went, no, you're not having it. I don't want to see your exposure. Anyway, whatever word I'm looking for, he did it. Breached track limits, perhaps that's the word I was looking for, which would have put him on pole, but obviously not to be anymore. Kingston now up onto provisional pole position ahead of Bierkhaus. So the BMW, confirmation there. I mean, Wes a strong driver anyway in pretty much any car you put him in, but there he is up in 2nd. And at the moment, set in purple. You can see that flashing on your screen there. Where it flashes in purple, it means his current lap time is good enough, if he continues on that trajectory, to be pole position. So he's 2/10 up on his best time at the moment, and that is enough to put him up onto pole. And we're going to be on the verge of the 57s if these boys carry on like this for the next 7.5 minutes, which is quite scary. But that is where we're heading. Certainly towards a 58 flat, maybe even into the 57s could be possible.
I have a theory on why the BMW is so fast. And I think it might be a little bit like the Ferrari in Formula 1. I think it's fantastic at turning its tyres on and having them in the working window for 1 or 2 laps. But I think its downfall is that it's so good at turning the tyres on, it turns them on too much and they then suffer in the race, which is what we were seeing on Tuesday.
Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely. So what we've got 6.5 minutes left. Yeah, I mean, it certainly makes sense in that, it'll be great in quality. It'll be great for the opening, 5 or 6 laps of the race, and then you'll see it start to die later on. So Alan Davis struggling a little bit today. The bane of my life he was on Tuesday, as you saw from that replay, making that Honda big and fat, and I couldn't get past it, which was a shame. No, it was a great drive from Alan. I really enjoyed it. Really competitive, and it was a great battle. We were nose to tail and side by side the entire race. It was really, really good fun. But he seems to be struggling a little bit out there. But again, you know, we don't know. A lot of guys don't have the practice time, so they set themselves up purely for the race and leave it there. So Ash Humphrey struggling a little bit. He looked pretty good in practice, but not getting the lap time he would like so far. His brother hasn't made it into the lobby tonight, as far as I can tell. So only one Humphrey's brother up there today. Who else have we got? Let's go have a look. Has anybody switched around? Foster's out there. He's currently up on his time, so we'll keep an eye on him. See if he can improve. So if you're watching, thank you for tuning in. You know, if you've missed the intro, we are at Silverstone. We are in quali, 5 minutes left of quali, and then a 2-hour endurance race coming, the longest race of the season, double points on offer, so plenty for these drivers to get excited about. If you miss this one, you'll kick yourself if you're a driver, because those double points are invaluable. But being a long endurance race, we'll be honest, there will be lulls, there will be times where there's no action, so keep your comments coming in, give us your thoughts, your opinions, support your favourite drivers, whatever it is. Keep those comments coming in, and we'll keep an eye on the comments on the YouTube channel, and we'll discuss them as and when we get some lulls in action, which unfortunately for endurance racing is a fact. It will happen, but it'll give us something to talk about later on. So keep your comments, your thoughts and opinions and everything else coming to us, and we'll discuss them all later on. So what do we reckon, Doug? Is it going to stay like this, or are we going to get a change?
It's one of them. I think Bakerhouse at the top, I think, will stay that way. As you were saying, BMW is very, very very well round here, quite dominant. And Bakerhouse seems to be on form tonight. So I think top-wise it'll stay that way. I think we could see an improvement by Foster. I think potentially a swap where, obviously you're not seeing Luke race too much before, but he seems like a good contender. But otherwise, I think it's probably going to be the top 5 probably are. I think we'll have a mix around before we get into quality.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, Ant Brown, I mean, I don't know anything about him. It's his first time racing with us. Never seen him before. But 3 times now, before the Sector 3, he's been flashing his purple, half a second up, good enough to put him onto pole position. And he's ballsed it in Sector 3. So I reckon he might have a shot at a pole if he can hook it up. But he does seem to be struggling just to hook up that last sector from what I can see. But we'll keep an eye on him, because he could be a surprise pole sitter here. I mean, never seen him before, and all of a sudden he might be on pole position, which would be quite the achievement.
What about making an entrance?
Exactly. He came in like a wrecking ball.
Miley Cyrus.
Indeed. Yeah, he knows his pop culture, that's for sure. So we are 3 minutes to go, so plenty of time still for these guys to get a lap in, plenty of time for all this to change around. Guys who had more race pace than quali pace on Tuesday, just give a bit of insight. I don't know if you agree with Aaron, but Scott Balsidi was very quick in the race, not so much in quali. Bart Tonks was the same, great race pace. Lloyd Reed seemed to have really good race pace as well. So, you know, as I alluded to, I guess we don't know if they're setting up more for the race and going for that consistency with the setup, so they can be quick for 2 hours rather than for a 15-minute qualifying session.
Yeah, we don't really know, but the good thing about ACC is you do get the flexibility. There's no parc fermé, so the guys can run 2 different setups, one for the race and one for quali. But I don't know about yourself, Mike, but I find it a lot nicer to just stick to one setup, and you get used to the little niches of the car as opposed to having 2 different ones. It feels a bit weird for me flicking between the 2. But yeah, like you say, those guys who were 4 or 5 tenths away at Silverstone, this is a track that kind of feels a bit like Spa in the sense of its distance, where that amount of time isn't actually that big over the course of the lap. That 4 tenths could be a couple of hundredths in every single area that add up to 4 tenths. So these guys, all the way down to P7 with Barnard, really, any one of those top 7, even Bart Tonks, could quite easily go on to take a win. We can't count any of those guys out. And I think that's what's made this season really, really fun. Is in times gone by, we sort of knew it was always going to be 2 or maybe 3 drivers challenging for a win. But we're going into races now where qualifying sort of doesn't even matter anymore, because everyone's capable in their own right of going out there and delivering a race win. So I think it's going to be one where strategy, as ever in an endurance race, tends to play a key part, but because of the weather as well, I think it's just going to be he who has planned the best will win, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And
oh, we've had a couple of messages on the YouTube actually before you carry on, Mike.
Okay.
We've had Roger Tonks. I suppose that is a relation to Bart. Say, go Tonks. And we've had Racing Melly say, let's go Kevin De Haan. So we've got the Dutch people in the house. Hello. Good evening.
Welcome. Welcome, Dutch people.
That's all I've got to report. That's all.
I think we're about to see Ant Brown take pole position. He does. Oh, it's a 58 flat, and that is the timer up as well. Beerkhoffs can't set a lap anymore. Kingston can't set a lap anymore. Foster is the only person in that front gaggle of cars that can affect this. Now, Lloyd Reed has already crossed the checker flag, as has Balsili. So it's between Barnard and Foster. One of those got enough pace to find that, let's be honest, over half a second to try and challenge for that pole position. That's a huge gap to find at this point of a qualifying session, but you wouldn't put it beyond either Foster or Barnard. Both great drivers with plenty of speed and experience. Barnard's not going to do it because he's abandoned his lap, so it is just down to Foster as it stands. I think he is literally the only person who can now set a lap, so no reason to go anywhere else. We'll stick with him and see how he gets on, see if he's got it in it. And he's abandoned the lap, so that is that. 4th place for Foster then. So Ant Brown on debut takes pole position on debut in a double points race in an FDSR. Wow, I mean, I was not expecting that to happen, but it has. So there we go. Brown from Beerkhouse, from Kingston, from Foster, from Reed, from Balsili. Barnard in 7th. Great. Sorry, just mentioned Balsili. That's a great lap from him. Finds himself in 6th. Barnard, Tonks, Tickner, Michael Mooney rounding out the top 10. Josh Evans down in 11th. That's a bit of a surprise, but not a McLaren track round here. That is for sure. Morris down in 12th. He's been quick the last couple of weeks as well. It's not happening for him. Rich Arnold in 13th. Ash Humphreys down in 14th position. Thomas Denman drove well in race 2 last week. He's in 15th. It shows how competitive this field is when you got, Morris, Evans, Humphreys, Denman all outside the top 10. Alan Davis down in 17th. Matty Heaton down in 18th. Zuba Patel, Alex McGee, Prescott, Stevens, De Haan, Millers, and Chris Carr, the newcomer, and the runner of the Porsche. We'll give him a bit of moral support because he runs a Porsche like me and Aaron do in the sprint series. But yeah, that is where we are. But yeah, a couple of sort of half surprises there, gentlemen. It's certainly not as obvious as I thought it would be, that grid.
I did not expect to see an Aston Martin on pole position tonight. That is for sure. That has totally thrown me.
I was just going to say, if I was to try and predict a grid, it's not a grid I would have predicted at all.
No, me neither. It does seem just a little bit bonkers. But like I say, it just so many people out of position compared to a traditional race. Like we said, we do not know what people are doing with setup and all that kind of stuff. But just be a couple of minutes away from the race starting.
I think we've also been joined by Adam in the chat as well.
We have.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm washed. There was a time when no one could beat me at Silverstone. There was a time.
You've still got Spa, mate. That counts for something.
Yeah.
Well, Ant Brown, we were just saying that has came from absolutely nowhere from
Yeah,
a
hello.
commentary perspective.
It's a mate
Did
of
you know he was
Alex.
that fast?
No,
Ah, I see.
but he's the mate of Alex, so he's got to be quick.
Yeah, if he's anything like Alex, which seemingly he is, in an Aston Martin as well. What is it with Kingston and his friends in Aston Martins, man?
Yeah.
Well, P4, plenty of variables in this race. Tyre wear's a factor, like a big factor, even after 20 minutes. I know you were playing about with setup. There's weather. It's double points. It's the full-blown, super long Silverstone Enduro. Surely P4, you've got to be happy with that because at least you're towards the front. And yeah, it's so much of a long race.
It is, yeah. Like you say, it's a very long race. P4 I'm okay with. I was hoping for a little bit better, to be fair. That's only because of my standards at Silverstone are normally higher. But yeah, happy with P4. Weather, if I'm crossing everything whilst racing that it comes. I've done as much in the settings as I possibly can to make it rain, but we will see. But yeah, the tyres die after about 20 minutes as well, as you know.
Yeah. I mean, myself and Mike were saying in the Porsche it actually wasn't that bad, but I mean, we aren't as fast as you. Well, I'll speak for myself. Mike was seemingly as quick as you guys, but we didn't really seem to struggle. So we wondered if it was car specific, but if it's generic, then we might have just. The
Porsche is very good around Silverstone. I'm not sure what it's like on its tyres these days, but Mike was driving incredibly the other night, so yeah, it might be your tyres are better for the Porsche.
Could be. Who knows? Well, yeah. Anyway, I suppose, exactly like you alluded to, let's keep everything crossed for a wet race because I think it's going to certainly throw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, definitely spice things up. Yeah.
I see that Rich has joined us. I saw that you joined and then left, and now you've rejoined.
Take care, lads. I'll see you on the other side.
And you? I tell you what, Rich. Instead of being greedy, I will let one of my co-colleagues ask some questions.
Joe, I've got a question for Rich.
Oh, hello, Mike. How are you?
Now, normally, Rich, we're at this position of the race, and we're like, you know what, slow and steady wins the race, you know, and blah blah blah, and then you crash. So what I'm recommending you do is absolutely go hell for leather for 2 hours. And don't take it easy at all. Just take a reverse psychology situation on it. Just go for it.
I'm going to use these tyres up in 3 laps.
Yeah,
right? That's
do it.
my plan.
Do it.
Absolutely. No, in all fairness, I mean, this isn't my favourite track. I do struggle around here. I'm actually surprised I'm as high up as I was qualifying, to be fair. But I think with the weather coming, we think it's coming. I think there's a few strategies in play, and we've certainly got something a little bit different. Me and Alan are both trying, so we will we'll see whether it pays off or not. There's one way we'll find out, but I think the weather should come and it will really screw it up. I think we're talking 15-16 seconds a lap slower in the wet, so it is a real change in changing conditions, and I think it's going to catch a lot of people out. So it's going to, you guys are going to be busy, I think.
That's what we love to hear.
2 hours worth of smashing that replay button. That's
what we want. That's what we want. And
we want it to be to the point where we can't even play the graphic.
That's it. I think that's the new thing with the coverage. Is everyone gets the moment you're saying right, we're not doing the graphic anymore, everyone celebrates. It's like, yes, go on. That's where we want to be.
I tell you what we found on Tuesday, mate, is that overtaking was really difficult without a big delta. Will the weather help overtaking or make it worse, do you think?
I think it will. I think if people are pushing to overtake and it happens to be wet, I think it's going to catch people out. They're going to miss braking points. They're going to do something silly and end up off. I think that's really when it's going to come in. If it stays dry all race, it's likely to be a little bit more subdued, for want of a better word. But yeah, I think when the weather comes, it will catch some people out, and like you say, you'll find some moves happening and some people out breaking themselves. And there are a few walls around here to hit in certain places, so it might be a bit tasty when that rain comes. And I think Adam's been trying to play it so that rain has definitely been coming. So we're hoping it is going to happen at some point, but we will find out soon.
We will. We'll let you get on, mate, because the race is about to start. We're a few corners away. Thank you for joining us, and good luck.
No worries. Have a good one.
You too. Anything particular you picked up there, Doug, from talking to the drivers, or?
I think it's going to be. I think the drivers kind of set themselves up mentally for a long race and going to take it as it comes. And as you were saying to Rich, obviously, sarcastically, go all out. It's going to be a race of time. Take your time. Keep it on the track. Consistency, like we were mentioning before.
Green light.
Well, there we are. We've got a green light. It's flat to the phone. Away you go. It's almost as if Dougie knew that green light was coming then. He cut off at just the wrong time. But there we go through the first couple of corners. Nice and clean from all the front guys. Morris has had a little bit of contact in the background according to the screen in front of me there. But I don't think anything terminal so far as the guys come through. Bakehouse following through. Foster has got up past Kingston. So he's made that stick. Oh, Tonks is going way off the track there. Way wide, so he's going to lose a couple of positions as he needs to be careful coming back on and will be compromised all the way down this straight. He needs to tuck in now behind and try and get a bit of a slipstream as they go through down the straight, and then through the right-hander. You can see we've got Foster's stream on the bottom left-hand corner there for you as well, so you can watch his battle at the front as we watch the general action. Foster up to third as it stands. So Ant Brown leading the way then. So we find out this is a friend of championship leader Alex Kingston. Of the same ilk. Very, very quick. Very, very skillful driver. Beerkhouse then in second still. Foster ahead of Kingston. And then you've got Reed just holding on to the back of those guys at the moment. Very, very capable. Tends to get into races. He said the other day it takes him about 10 laps to get going usually. So I'm expecting him to get stronger as the race goes on. Balsili hanging on in a 6th at the moment. He's ahead of Barnard, who's in 7th. Tonks in 8th. He's had a little bit of an adventure already, we've seen. Darren Tickner is in 9th. He's effectively a new entry as he's rejoined the championship for the second time this season in a new car. So he drops to... well, not 0 points, 1 point, because he's got a driver of the race point, which I didn't take off him because that would have been cruel. Josh Evans then rounding out the top 10 at the moment. Don't think this is a McLaren track, so it might be a bit of a struggle for people like Evans and Dan Stevens today in the Macca. Rich Arnold then is in 11th at the moment. Ash Humphreys in 12th. Gray Morris struggling a little bit in the Ferrari there. He's been followed very closely by Thomas Denman. And then you've got Simpson, Alan Davis, Matty Heaton, all really close together. Alex McGee in the Jag. He's in 18th. Dan Stevens, we alluded to in that beautifully West liveried McLaren there. Very, very much like that. He's in 19th. Kevin Tahan down in 20th, so I think he must have had a little adventure off the start. What are we oohing about?
Just for Kevin Tahan.
Oh, okay, just checking I hadn't missed anything. Prescott in 21st, Miller's in 22nd, Michael Mooney in 23rd, another one who's obviously had a bit of an issue off the start. I think he started from the pit lane actually, looking at the thing here, so I don't think he readied up in time, so he started from the pit lane, so a long race ahead for Mooney. Chris Carr on debut in 24th in the sole Porsche out there, and then Zuba Patel in the last McLaren down there in last place. Okay, that takes us through all the drivers. So where are the battles then? So Kingston here battling the back of Foster, so Kingston faster than Foster at this point of the race, but you can see on Foster's stream there as well as he follows through behind Bakehouse, so it's going to be proper close in these opening exchanges before the drivers all sort of settle down into a pattern. If you see any overtakes that I missed, boys, give me a shout and I will smash that replay button.
Don't you worry, sunshine, we will.
So we'll just keep an eye on this battle. Obviously all the cars are really close together at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on proceedings as best we can. So fastest lap of the race there going to Brown with a 59.7. Amateur numbers, man, I was doing those. Obviously I'm joking, but yeah, so we're still Kingston. I think he'll be disappointed to have lost that position off a start, because it looks like he's definitely got the pace, doesn't it? I think Barnard's had a little off, it looks like, because he's dropped a few positions. Let's just have a look at the replay and we will see what has happened to Barnard. Let's see if we can see what has happened. Here he is battling away with Balsili, as he was. Oh. Did he get hit, or did he just lose it?
I think it could have been a little contact, I think.
Yeah, it's
I
difficult.
don't know. Is there anything in the log, Mike? Because sometimes
does say accident car 4, yeah, so there was contact. So, yeah, it was just checking the log, as you said that. So, great minds think alike, as they say. And that was contact there for Barnard. So, luckily, I mean, it's not been a race finishing contact. He's only lost 3 positions, 3 positions regardless. I'm not saying it's warranted, but still, it looks like he can carry on. And he's only lost, about 4 or 5 seconds from that. So, could have been a lot worse.
One thing that might trigger though, Mike, because I found when I had a little trip over there, is even though you can lose a boatload of time, you can get a track limits ping. And in a race that's so long, that's 2 hours long, those track limits pings are like gold dust. You'll rack up 4 in no time, so might be something that we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, the only way to avoid it is if you do go off like that, you've just got to pull off the throttle, because if you don't gain any time, you don't get pinged. So you have absolutely just got to make sure you lose time in that scenario, because you're better off losing 5 seconds doing that than you are getting a drive-through penalty, aren't you? So, all right, once or twice you can get away with it, but you get 3 warnings basically, don't you? So that's what it comes down to. But yeah, anyway, we were talking about Kingston, and I'm sure you'll agree, Doug, he must be frustrated at losing that position off the start, because he's clearly quicker than the guys ahead of him now.
Definitely, I think especially I think it's a bit worse for him as well with it being Foster. You've had a bit of battering back and forth throughout the season, so I think he will be a bit annoyed. He's now going to have to work hard, as we know Foster can defend very, very well.
Yeah, indeed. Just moving over to Morris's stream, because we're kind of watching the action of Foster on the screen here. Bartonks has got past Balsili. Let's just take a quick look at that replay and see how Bartonks gets this done. So that was through Maggots and Beckett's, I believe, and then down the Hanger Straight. I know some of the corners around here, aren't you proud?
Very, yeah. Sorry, I was on mute there.
So I actually know some of the corners. It was a mistake there from Balsili. Balsili goes wide, and that is what allowed Tonks to get through. But Tonks is quick around here, like I say, he won the opening race on Tuesday, but to be fair, Balsili won the next race. Balsili's lost more positions, so another mistake from Balsili. So plenty of instances. There's been a couple of instances at the back as well. Millers and Dan Stevens have made some contact. Let's see if we can take a browse at what's happened here. So here they are coming through the international start straight and the F1 first turn. And just a little bit of side-by-side on the doors there. Miller's with, I think, the GT3 equivalent of a push to pass there. But he's not giving the position back. He's just gone, well, unlucky, mate. That's my corner now, and through he goes. So there we go. But it gave us a little something to watch. So we're grateful. Back to the Kingston battle then for the front three. Keeping an eye on Morris's stream here as well. He's chasing down Richard Arnold at the moment. So Morris, I'm sure, will be praying for a comfortable top 10 finish. Probably be disappointed with that quality. He's looked really quick, hasn't he, Aaron, since switching to the Ferrari. So I'm sure being, 14th in quality won't sit well with him.
No, it definitely won't. And we know how strong he was in the McLaren anyway, so... Oh, as we say that, he's made a pass, but this could be a bit interesting.
Oh, he just tucks in front of him.
Oh, I thought we were going to have a potential moment there heading into Vale.
But yeah. Ash Humphreys, very opportunist, follows Morris Sue. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That was a great little drive then from those. So let's just have another quick look at that. Sorry, this is a replay. I've just forgotten to press the overlay. So this is just watching that again. And as you can see, Humphreys just opportunistically following him through. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. And we're back to the live action. So Foster proper close to Bakehouse now. And Brown not pulling away. Now I wonder, you know, we've just heard that Brown and Kingston are very good friends. Bit of tactical Aaron. Is Ant the tactical Aaron of the group? What do you reckon? Just pushing Bakehouse back into Foster, pushing Foster back into Kingston, or are these guys just outright damn fast?
I think these guys are just scary fast. I think it's an incredible display of talent. It's not necessarily tactics. I mean, we've got Dom Ingle in the YouTube comments. He alluded to it. He said it's nice and close at the front, and I think it's going to stay that way, certainly for the first stint, unless one of these guys makes a mistake. It's going to be inseparable. You know, I think Kingston's got a very good run here, though, Mike. If you want to take it back over,
he has got a bit of a run, but that Honda power VTEC will kick in about halfway down the straight. and away it will go. And I mean, as you saw from the replay earlier, I keep talking about myself, but as you saw, I know the Porsche is slow in a straight line, but that Honda is fast. I mean, you saw, even if I had such a good exit that I basically pulled alongside Davis down the straight, by the end of the straight he was back in front of me. Now the Porsche is slow, don't get me wrong, but the Honda also is fast in a straight line, so that is going to be a problem for Kingston, I think. Well, Bart Tonks has had an off. Let's just smash that replay and see if we can see what has happened to Tonks. And so here he is coming. Oh, just got too happy on the curb, and then the old Scandi flick, and then into the barrier, and that is going to cost him loads of time, as that will be damage central. So you can expect an early pit stop from him. Disappointing from Tonks, who was absolutely superb around here on Tuesday. It just doesn't appear to be his evening today.
it's a shame, really, because I mean, we know how strong he. Oh, excuse me. We know how strong he ran on that Tuesday, like you said there. So, man, he must be beating himself up. But do you wonder, Mike? Is it pressure? Because on Tuesday, you know, it's just a laugh for us and a bit of practice. But is there a bit of pressure on a driver's mind when it comes to Thursday? Because this is the one that everyone's really racing for and everyone's competing to win in. So I don't know. I'm just trying to justify it, I guess.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I mean, it's a very good point. It could just be the pressure, and the two Sprint Tuesdays is a bit more relaxed, as you say. It's not a serious championship. It's a bit of fun and stuff, and this is serious for the guys. So yeah, absolutely, it could be. Plenty going on here on track. Evans putting in loads of pressure. Oh, Kingston, it looks like, has got past Foster. Let's just take a look at the replay. We don't know why or how that has happened, but let's just take a look and see if we can see. So here is Kingston coming. Foster. Oh, Foster with terrible exit out of Maggots and Beckett's for Foster. Probably, to quote Foster, the Honda doing Honda things. And that was it. Game over. But I've just moved over to Mooney's stream in the bottom corner there, because you can see he's battling away with Millers as they battle away for 15th position. So just thought we'd pop into that one. But Foster's got past Kingston again. So let me see if I can grab this one on a replay. I have. This is a replay, guys. Again, I haven't smashed that other button because it takes too long. Sometimes when you just need a quick one. But 5 seconds left. I'm not sure if we're going to get to see it, but mistake. It looked like he caught it though, because he's still behind. So it was a bit of I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo, but
I tell you what, I've done that a few times on Tuesday. Ian, you can save them. I did it through the last part at the end of the hangar straight going into Stowe as well. I lost the rear so much. I just did some four-wheel drifts for fun. Oh man, well held though. Well held.
Is it double points for style points as well?
Yeah, I'll award him some style points. Here's a replay of just a three-way battle here. Tickner, Evans and Balsili all going at it, and some great action here coming through the Twisty Complex before the national start-finish straight. Is that Cops section, Aaron? I think it's Cops, isn't it?
No, Cops is effectively turn one here.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you.
So yeah, Copses turn 1, and where we were looking at was Woodgate.
Woodcut,
Woodcut, sorry.
yeah, that was it. I knew I'd get it wrong. I tried to be cocky, I got it wrong.
It's where I stood this year for MotoGP, and I tell you what, the testicles on those gentlemen are huge.
Yes. Huge cojones.
You have never seen lean angles like it in your life. They just look parallel to the floor.
Bit of an issue for Balsillie there. He suddenly has just sort of disappeared from the picture, so I'm just going to take a quick look and see if we can see what happened here. So he's battling away with Evans. And then he just sort of... Oh, he's run wide again. He just sort of disappeared. Well, Evans gets past him. Great move, to be fair, into the chicane. We don't see exactly what happened to Balsillie, but he has lost about 2 seconds from it, whatever it was. But challenging for the lead now. Birkhouse having a proper go at Anne Brown here.
I was going to say, with Foster and Kingston battling, it might free up these two to have a little ding-dong, because Wes won't be looking in his rear mirrors anymore. He can just afford to go all guns blazing at Anne Brown.
Well, we're jumping on with this Mooney battle a moment, because it's absolutely bonkers. Mooney, Millers and Heaton all battling away here for 14th position. You can see Millers giving Heaton a proper hard time. As we've joined it, suddenly the gap has got bigger again, unfortunately, but it was proper close on Mooney's stream, but it looks to have settled down again. Yeah, boo indeed. How dare you make mistakes? Oh, this one's nice and close though. McGee, Prescott and DeHaan all having a nice little ding-dong. That's what we like to see. We'll pop Mooney's one back up there just so we can see both at the same time. God, I love this stream. What a wonderful thing I've built. So McGee then keeping Prescott. But this contact! Oh, he's hit him twice! He's hit him twice! Oh, mistake there from McGee, but Prescott carried way too much speed and makes contact with the Jaguar, and that takes both of them, well, not out of the race, but certainly out of contention for where they were. Millers has got past Heaton, but Heaton coming back at Millers. Always proper tight through here. You can see 2 angles of it. You can see a couple of seconds replay down on Mooney's stream as well of this. This is brilliant stuff from these 3 guys, all battling away. Proper close racing. What entertainment we're having this evening, gentlemen. There's us thinking that the endurance races can be a little bit dull sometimes. This is absolutely brilliant.
Silverstone always provides, Mike. Heaton, is that Michael past Heaton as well?
Yeah, I think he dropped back. Yeah, he's just dropped back, he has, just to give him the position by the look of it. So, yeah, maybe there was a little bit of contact or something and he's thought better of it and has given the position back. But
I tell you what, Mike, sorry to bump in, but Michael's going to have a massive run on this back straight. He had a switchback of dreams there. He's surely he's going to have a move. He's going to have a go down into the end of the straight.
Well, he's certainly got a lot more power than what I had trying to do that in the Porsche. So there you go. He gets a move done. You're about to see it twice. There you go. Once, twice, 3 times a Mooney. Absolutely brilliant. Great stuff.
And
Through he goes.
Just nothing Millers can do about that. The Honda's just so quick. Once Michael had set that up, there was no defending it really.
There wasn't. So we got 2 battles at the front now. So Birkhouse and Brown, and then you've got Kingston and Foster. But these guys now 3.5 seconds behind the leaders after they, ding-dongs with each other and battling and going off track and sliding Tokyo drifts and all that. It's been a bit bonkers. So plenty going on there. Where's Morris now? So Morris is up into 10th. I'm keeping an eye on some of the drivers that we've got extra streams for, just so we can keep an eye on it. But Mooney now is chasing after Mr. Alan Davis. You can see that on his screen. And just see the Honda in front there. Good luck trying to get past him because I couldn't. But Michael Mooney, a slightly more skilled driver than I, so I'm sure he'll have better luck. But Alan Davis, quite the defender. He's the poddy flack of FDSR. Let's put it that way. He makes the car wide as you like. But here we are watching the battle for the final podium position at the moment. Foster versus Kingston. I mean, Foster's got no choice. Keep Kingston behind because if he wants to be in the championship battle, especially with double points on offer, this is the one race, isn't it, Doug, where he has to finish in front of Alex Kingston.
Yeah, it's his chance to really close the gap and do it quickly in a single race. It's double points. You've got to make every point count, I suppose. As cliche as that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's mad to think, Aaron, the sprint race would be done now. This would be the last lap, and we still got an hour and 40 minutes to go.
Yeah, I know. It's been usually it's pretty tame, isn't it? It's been absolutely bonkers.
It has been bonkers.
Michael shaping up for a move.
Yeah, keep an eye on the bottom left-hand corner because you can see Mooney has got a move, and same rinse repeat, same as he did last time. Coming into the Woodcut complex. I got it right that time. He
loves Brooklands.
makes that move absolutely brilliantly, and up he goes. Up into 13th. So great stuff. And there we are. Me having the double stream thing is justified because we've seen an overtake. We've seen 3 overtakes on it so far today. So there we are. I'm glad I put the effort in now. So Millers and Davis are close together now as well. Artis Miller's driving really well tonight, coming through the field, picking off cars, making overtakes. And I don't mean this disrespectfully. I mean he's been a bit nowhere so far this season, but he seems to be on fire out there today because he started right at the back, up to 15th, having some proper ding-dongs out there. Good drive from him so far, boys.
Definitely, I think you'll be happy with that. You can't complain. Because especially during races, I think you're scared it sometimes you'll be left in no man's land and bored just doing laps after laps.
Oh, it's just at the curb, commentator's curse, and he's got lucky there. He just managed to catch that bounce, but yeah, it's a shame he's not streaming tonight actually, because that would be a good one to have on because he's done quite a bit so far. But yeah, a little mistake from him there, so it's difficult to be consistent, lap after lap after lap. Just the slightest 2 inches too far to the right, and all of a sudden your car's bouncing over the curbs and all over the place. So back to this battle then, Kingston versus Foster. Foster is still keeping him behind. I mean, these guys both equally fast. Kingston has a slight advantage, I think, in the Merc, but not enough to be consistently quicker than Foster. But it's going to take a mistake, I think, for these two to switch positions, but we will keep an eye on it. You never know. There may be a Danny Ricciardo late break style move on the cards, who knows. Oh, right.
I feel like we need to take a breather now.
Yes,
we need to relax.
We can take a breather and relax now. I think it is starting to settle down out there. I mean, those first opening 20 minutes, I hope you guys watching at home agree. It's just been bonkers because there's been so much action, so many cars close together. Prescott and McGee are close together again. Last time that ended in a massive accident. I'm sure Prescott will be taking it a little bit easier this time. I'm glad they've both not got that much damage and are both able to continue, though. That is very, very pleasing. Pleasing to see. Bart Tonks did pit after that incident we saw with him earlier, so he has pitted, as has Zuber. So they've both done their first pit stop. Michael Mooney shows that he has done a pit stop, but I think that is because he started from the pit lane. That is my understanding, which explains why he was down at the bottom. But you'll see from his stream, he's catching some.
Prescott was going to go around there. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
It was just his line.
Yeah. I was just keeping an eye on Mooney's stream as he is catching the McLaren in front of him, so we'll keep an eye on that as well.
On top there.
But yeah, these two are having a right old battle at the back, and that's the beauty of this league, is there's battling going on. Doesn't matter whether you're battling for 25th position or first position. There's a battle on track pretty much wherever you look, and that's the beauty of this league, is this got a bit of something for everyone. No matter what your driving skill, you can take part.
Agreed.
Which you don't always get. But Kingston's caught back up to the rear of Foster, and they've got a back marker coming up as well. I think that's Zuba Patel in front of them there. So we've seen back markers cause issues in the past. We'll just stick with this some more. I'm hoping he doesn't have any issues, and just keeping an eye there as well. You can see Mooney about to make a move on the McLaren. Goes around the outside. I mean, he's so quick through this complex, isn't he? I mean, move after move we've seen of him through there, but he's got McLaren on his outside at the moment. And he just makes the move, up he goes, and you can see the McLaren in his rearview mirror there.
Foster's falling down the list.
Oh, Foster's off, yeah, you're right. Sorry, while I was watching that, we've missed it. Foster's heading off, and he's pulling off the track. Let us take a look at the replay and see what has happened to Adam Foster. So battling away for third place. Here he comes again through Maggots and Beckett's, where he's had problems before, and he's lost it through Maggots and Beckett's again. And this time, big damage. Big damage for Foster, so he just needs to get back to the pits, get it repaired. Actually, the damage isn't as bad as I thought. Actually, it's not too bad, but it will. Oh, the bonnet's jumping up and down, so he's got aero damage on the front.
Are we able to hop onto his onboard to see? You know, in his stream thing to see what it looks like from his stream. Do you mean? I can't get my words out properly. You know, he's streaming the bottom left, and we got on.
Yeah.
Is Foster streaming? That's what I'm trying to say. Because Foster's streaming the bottom left. I'm really struggling.
We certainly can. This is what it looks like on board for him. So.
Oh, it doesn't show any damage, does it? I was wondering if you could see his damage.
No, his tyres are a bit hot after that little spinneroonie, but you can't see any damage. But you'll see by the car moving around and such. But that is disappointing. That is disappointing. I think he's probably looking forward to getting rid of this Honda, because he doesn't appear to be able to be consistent in it, does he, boys, compared to what we've seen him in the past?
No, definitely not. I think when he came in after qualifying, he didn't seem too happy with it at all, because he said he can do better, and he usually does better.
Just keep an eye on some of the battles. So Matty Heaton really close to Alan Davis, and this Kevin DeHaan behind those as well. So we'll just stick with this for a little bit. See if it gives us a little bit of overtaking entertainment. Who else have we got? Mooney's a little bit behind Denman now. Just keeping an eye on some people. Oh, Morris is pretty close to someone, so let's jump on board with Morris there. So you can see, oh, it's actually Foster he's catching, but that's understandable because Foster has damage. So we'll see if Morris can get an overtake done there. But Foster
might be pitting as well, I think, because he had these menus up before on his stream.
Yeah, he's probably checking the level of damage, and if it's like under 10 seconds, he'll probably leave it. But if it's like 30 seconds worth of damage, he'd probably get the pit stop done. But here we go, watching Matty Heaton then is under pressure now from Kevin DeHaan, while also trying to pressure Alan Davis over. And Kevin DeHaan looks like he's going to be trying to go later on the brakes and go around the inside. He does do it. A little bit of a slip wide there from Heaton, but he manages to stick with it, keeps his foot in and gets back in front of the BMW. And now once again a switch back, and DeHaan trying to go later on the brakes on the inside again. But great driving from Matty Heaton in the Lamborghini, keeps DeHaan behind. Great stuff there. And Prescott and Dan Stevens.
Oh, Dom's just commented something that I was about to say actually. He said, let's see if Kingston can close the gap to Wes. Now, Dom, Mike, Dougie, what we were on about earlier with Ant Brown, maybe being a tactical Ant Brown, is there a little bit more incentive now to try and back him towards Wes? Now that Adam's out of the way?
Possibly. I mean, I'm not saying the guys would play those dirty tactics, but I mean, you're certainly right. There's absolutely an incentive for it. But what I would say is, he is lapping at exactly the same lap time.
Yeah.
So as it stands, he's not really going to make much inroads into that. So I mean, Wes probably in the slightly slower car, just using the slipstream to sort of keep up and keep his lap times down. So but yeah, absolutely could be a possibility. We will see, but as it stands, he doesn't have the pace to catch up to the back of them. Interestingly, Lloyd Reed is on pace with these guys, but he's about 5 seconds behind at the moment. And then Tickner only 1.5 seconds back as well. Darren Tickner's done a great job to get himself up into P5. Josh Evans up into P6. He looked like he was struggling. Thought the McLaren might not be a great car around here, but he's certainly managing to be consistent at the moment. But yeah, plenty of variables. But yeah, could he be a tactical Ant? Absolutely, he could. Will he be? I don't know. time will tell. Time will tell. But it is still close between those. But yeah, it's a great point from Domino. Can Kingston catch up with them? I mean, Kingston is the one who's really fighting for the championship, because not really in it, but I think he will be once drop scores kick in. He'll be much closer. And Ant Brown obviously only entering now, having missed 4 rounds, probably not really a contender even if he races for the rest of the season. So yeah, absolutely. Just noticing these guys all still close together. They're all determined to have a nice close race. It's great to see, innit? It's great to see people battling all the way through the field.
Definitely, 100%. You know, even in a 2-hour race, sometimes you see guys maybe holding back a little bit. But I mean, look at this gaggle of cars in front of car. This is what we want to see. This is what it's all about. And you know, if there's anybody watching thinking of joining FDSR, there's a level for everyone, and at the end of the day, there's not a single person who isn't racing someone tonight. Everybody's in a little battle. I think the biggest gap is probably 6 seconds to an opponent, really. But even then, the guys who were behind those, I mean, I'm looking at Denman as an example. Mooney's catching him, so he'll be in a battle soon. You know, Barnard might be 7 seconds off 6, but Scott Balsini's breathing down his neck. There's just everything. There's always something happening.
Yeah,
that's what we love to see.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, from Barnard down to Morris, there's basically, you know, a second between each car, so they're all battling. As you say, you know, Mooney's catching. Then you've got Millers and Simpson battling. Then you've got these 4 that we're watching at the moment battling with each other. It's just absolutely happening everywhere up there at the moment. Millers has got past Simpson. So what we will do is just take a quick look at the replay and see how that happened. See if we can catch the action. So much better exit there, and looks like later on the brakes down into the chicane, and through he goes. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Great move. We like that. We like that all day long. Anyway, back to what we were watching. PDF indeed. PDF indeed. So Davis holding up Heaton, holding up Dahan, holding up Carr, holding up Humphreys. So that is 5 cars now, all battling for position, which is great for us. Great entertainment. Morris is pretty close to the back of Foster now, and he's closed up on Balsili, who's also closed up on Barnard. So Barnard has had a little adventure early on as well. May have a little bit of damage from that. So it's proper close. Keeping an eye on Morris's stream there in the bottom as he challenges with Foster. Oh, you can see he's taking a run up alongside Foster. I think there's been some contact. Well, there has. Morris has gone around. There's been contact with Foster.
Oh dear.
Let's take a look at the replay. So we saw it on Morris's stream. So you see, this is Morris, but you can't try and overtake through Maggis and Beckett, surely. You're just asking for trouble. Just cleans him out. Yeah, that's a little bit naughty, I think, trying to make a move through there. Yeah, I don't know about your opinion, boys, but that just seemed a little bit silly.
It's tiny bit, almost a bit of desperation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was about to say something just to wind Mike up. It was about a gap and being a racing driver.
Everybody thinks they're Senna. Right, Dahana's got past Heaton, so let's just take a quick look at that replay, and we will see how that happened. Oh, we've missed it. Stupid button. Apologies, folks, we've missed that replay, but Dahan did get past him, and just keeping an eye on Mooney's stream there. He's challenging the Ferrari of Denman, and he's coming to his favourite part of the circuit, trying to make that overtake, and it looks like he's getting it done, and he is. later on the brakes. And next up for him is Foster. So great driving from Mooney. He's picking his way up through the field, up into the top 10 now. Thomas Denman, the latest victim of the Michael Mooney show. So
It's got Michael's show tonight.
it is. Michaels of all kinds. Well, Foster has decided to go into the pits, so he pulls the trigger and he is into the pits. So he will drop down basically to 9 on last. Doesn't look like we got any rain coming at the moment. 24 degree track temperature. Apologies, couldn't get my words out there. Still 1 hour and 25 minutes to go. So why are we watching Foster in the pits? I don't know, he said. So Denman hasn't been dropped here by Mooney. Denman's managing to stay with him, although he looked almost like a passenger as Mooney went past, didn't he? But he's certainly got the pace to stick with him. Now perhaps he's you know, quite often I think you find, Aaron, don't you? You sit behind the driver, overtakes you. You see a couple of different lines you can take, pick up a bit of speed, and all of a sudden you're more competitive, following a quicker driver.
Yeah, you just you can see where you're losing the time, can't you? So you just put it into practice and end up being quicker. I had it following Michael Mooney the other night on Tuesday, so proof's in the pudding with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you said you found a lot of time by doing that, but you see how close it is. A moment ago, Heaton was about to challenge Dehaan for position while Dehaan was challenging Davis. Now he's under pressure from Carr in the Porsche there. Well, Ash Humphries is just sort of sat there in the background going, "Come on, boys, take each other out, and I'll nick all these positions. Thank you very much." But that is how close it is between all these guys. It's absolutely unbelievable to watch. And you know, these guys are battling for 15th, 14th position. This, you know, but you could swear they were battling for a podium the way they're going at it. Absolutely brilliant to watch.
This is class. When does this ever happen in a 2-hour endurance race? I really can't recall the last time we've had it this close.
No, me neither. It's been absolutely brilliant.
Oh, sorry, I've just clocked that Dom's been typing in YouTube again and I missed it. Sorry, Dom. He's just piped up and said Artis is driving really well, which he is. He's smashing it in the Aston.
Yeah, we gave him a little mention earlier. Yep.
Yep, and he's alluded to the fact that Ad will struggle to do a one-stop pitting as early as he has. So that is probably a nailed-on two-stop unless he drives really conservatively.
Yeah, I mean, we've set the server up for rain, so we are expecting rain. So I think he's probably banked on that and thought it'll probably be a two-stopper for most if the rain comes late on. So I think he's probably just, you know, put his fate in the hands of the weather gods now and just praying for that rain to come. So he's got the opportunity to refuel. And obviously put a set of wet tyres on, but proper close again between all these guys. Chris Carr and Humphries battling away has mean that they've sort of dropped a little bit off the back of these now. But here we go, Davis protecting his position from Dehaan. Heaton also battling away, proper close. And just to say, Dom, as well, one, cheers for tuning in, and two, we miss you on track, mate. So come back and join us soon.
He did say there's an outside chance of him being able to race in a couple of weeks' time, so you never know. You never say never.
Awesome. We'd love to see you back, mate. We do miss you, but obviously life comes first. We know that, and we look forward to welcoming you back when you can.
I miss his Tom Chilton hair.
Oh, that's made me laugh. But proper close at the front now. Bakehouse really challenging for the lead. But interestingly, you know, where we were discussing about Kingston closing up the gap on these, it's actually increased to 6.5 seconds and not 5.5. So Kingston not able to catch these guys. Ant Brown's pace such that it's quicker than Kingston, but also Bakehouse able to stick with him.
I suppose
really
one
challenge.
thing to remember is ballast. We might have forgot about that.
No, there is no ballast.
Ah, brilliant. In that case then, I'm full of tosh and I didn't even open my mouth.
I did mention it in the pre-show before we started. Yes, you were on the call at the time, so I can only blame your ignorance for that.
Yep, absolutely. Just, you know what, I was just thinking, I wonder why he might be a bit slow. Oh, ballast, of course, he's got ballast. No ballast.
No, I was told by the admins that ballast was not in place for this endurance race to enable
Probably
it to
for the
just be
better.
yeah, just for it, it's a proper just race of attrition just for the drivers without other factors, but proper side by side stuff here for Don. Oh, he just has to get out of it a little bit there, with Davis pushing him wide, but he sticks with it. And he'll be later on the brakes, but Davis saying, no, I'm just going to brake a little bit later than you, and I'm going to stick my car where it needs to be. Dahan trying to go round the outside now. This is basically Hamilton versus Verstappen, same section of the track as well, in the F1 last season, which was a brilliant battle, and I think Charles Leclerc was in that battle as well, from what I remember. And this is three-way as well. It's absolutely brilliant to watch. Millers has got past Morris, so we'll just wait and see if this just settles down. And Dahan way too late on the brakes. Way too late on the brakes.
Through goes Heaton.
But we'll just take a look at Miller's overtake. I think we can just catch it, hopefully. Yeah. So there is Morris ahead of him. I'm wondering if it was a mistake or a move. It was a mistake from Morris. There you go, going way wide. And Miller's now on the back of Denman as well. So Miller's, yeah, I mean, just to reiterate, absolutely driving superbly. And there's been contact between Dahan and Heaton. And just a little bit of door banging there as they come out of the corner. And then we go back to it. And Dahan is ahead of him. And Humphrey's on the back of these guys now as well. He's finally got past Carr, but Carr's sticking with that battle as well. This is absolutely fantastic entertainment. I honestly can't get over how great this race is. It's absolutely brilliant. Brilliant stuff. Really good. I was not expecting it to be as entertaining as it has been so far. Usually these endurance races are proper strung out by now, aren't they? But we had so many people out of position in quality, didn't we, boys? I wonder if that's playing a part here because they're having to battle their way through the field, so it's keeping it closer for us.
It definitely is, and it's coupled with the fact that the people they've got to go past are supreme in defence as well, so he's just making it juicy. Oh, we love to see it. We
do.
Love to see it.
And Davis and Dahan getting proper side by side again. Dahan having another bite of the cherry. Had just had to jump away there. Dahan gets ahead of him this time, but Davis going to try the switch
he's
back.
Going deep.
And it's proper close.
Look at the queue behind them. If one person makes a mistake, there's 5 cars ready to come through.
These guys proper battling away. And Miller's has made that move stick. So I'm just going to take a look at the replay and jump on with Miller's and see. This is him going around the outside of the Ferrari Denman. Oh, just breaching track limits there. Morris on the back of them, proper getting involved as well. Yeah, they love it. Absolutely love it. Great stuff for Miller's.
Side through there.
Ooh, very wide.
Oh, yeah. Denman had to pull out of it.
Yeah. Jeez.
Tickner into the pits. He's the first normal pitter, if you like. Pitting for the sake of pitting, not pitting for damage or anything else. We'll go back to this fantastic battle here. So Dahan now still ahead of Davis, but Heaton, Humphreys and Carr all following, trying to challenge that NSX for position. Brilliant stuff. All those position gains you're seeing on your screens there, guys, are all basically where there is a pit stop for Darren Tickner, so of course he's losing positions from that. So that is what all of those are. Look at this. It's just absolutely epic driving from these 5 guys, all able to follow each other proper closely. Absolutely brilliant stuff to watch. So where are we at the front then? Because still a second behind, and Brown still unable to make any inroads into that. We'll just have a quick run through the field and see where we are. And Brown then still out in front, but not by much, as you can see there from Wes Bakehouse. Kingston still 6.5 seconds further back. Lloyd Reed only 5 seconds behind Kingston. So still in with a good shout of a podium if something goes wrong for one of the other drivers. Josh Evans was 6th, now up to 5th because Tickner has decided to pit. Barnard currently in 6th position then. But of course, remember, Tickner will, in theory, re-overtake these guys once he does his pit stop. Barsili in a superb 7th at the moment, driving really well. Michael Mooney up to 8th at the moment, net 9th. Driven so well, started in the pit lane, and he has been absolutely superb today. He's had some disastrous luck this season, Michael Mooney, but he is on absolute fire up there in that Honda. I mean, you know, we haven't got the halfway point yet, but if he keeps this up, he's my driver of the race, not just because he's in a car with a H badge on the front of it. Artis Miller's another contender for the driver of the race. Oh, how can you pick between the two of them? We might have to give them both driver of the race, boys. It is an endurance, long endurance after all, and double points. Double driver of the race for double points maybe, but those two definitely contenders at the moment because they've been absolutely superb. Graham Morris, who's had some adventures so far, needless to say, should probably be a bit further up, but he finds himself in 10th. Thomas Denman in 11th at the moment, seen some good battles with him. Ben Simpson in 12th, just a second behind Denman as it stands. Denman, the young Welshman, on the verge of the top 10, but losing a few positions over the last few laps. Kevin DeHaan then in 13th, he's had a few adventures. Alan Davis in 14th, we've seen him and Heaton and Carr battling away. I think Humphreys has left, so I don't know if he's disconnected or if he's had an accident. I'm seeing his accidents here.
I hope he's made it to Kosovo if he has.
There was an accident a couple of laps ago, but I'm not seeing the car numbers. Oh, there we go. Accident. What's he, number 4? No. Accident showing for car number 44. So whether he might have a disconnect maybe or something, but he's definitely gone, isn't he? I'm not losing the plot.
No, you're not making it up.
Yeah, he's definitely gone, which is a shame because he was right in this battle we're watching here. Rich Arnold down in 17th. Clearly my tactic of just put your foot down and go for it is not working for Rich, so apologies Rich for the bad advice. Tickner down in 18th now. He was looking quite competitive, but he has been the only one of the front runners to do a pit stop so far. He was stationary for 41 seconds, so it'll be interesting to see where he falls after all the others have done their stops. Dan Stevens in 19th, then Alex McGee in 20th, Paul Prescott down in 21st, Zuber in 22nd, Adam Foster in 23rd. It's currently a lap and a half down. And then you've got Bartonks, who's still in the pits, and it looks like he's going to stay there because he's 12 laps down on everybody else now. Michael Mooney into the pits. He's decided to get his stop done. I wonder whether there's some weather coming now with the guys pitting. Maybe they're looking at their weather prediction. I wonder if we can bring the HUD up, whether it will show weather. It doesn't. No, that's no good, is it? I was hoping maybe we might get a bit of weather info, but it's not. It's not available. So. That is a shame. It would be nice to see whether rain is imminent. Give us a bit of entertainment. Matty Heaton proper close now to the back of the Honda of Alan Davis. This battle continues to rage on. And Davis has been defending like a lion, to quote Fernando Alonso. Pretty much since Tuesday, because he did it against me and he's done it again tonight. But he's been absolutely brilliant. Yes, well, there we go. We're coming towards halfway. Any big surprises for you so far, gentlemen? I mean, obviously Foster's incidents in Magus and Beckett's obviously sort of stand out with him being nigh on last now. But any other big surprises for you?
I would say DeHaan. I would expect DeHaan to be a bit higher, unless I'm wrong in saying.
Yeah,
I'd
he's had a few adventures.
Chris Carr, he's made a good entrance. Sorry, Aaron.
No, it's alright, but I was just going to say, I think, obviously, Ant's smashing it. I didn't expect to see that. Artis is smashing it as well, as Dom alluded to. And I think, yeah, Carr's probably the biggest one for me because of how much we've struggled a little bit in the Porsche, but we've ran well here. I just didn't expect to see another person run as well as he has.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's doing 202s, so he's competitive with the guys around him. Track, yeah, 22 degrees was quite similar to what we ran in race 1 the other day. So, but of course these guys having to run these tyres for much longer, whereas we didn't really have to care for our tyres, so we could be a bit more gung ho. But yeah, it's interesting to see the difference in the lap times. I mean, even the leaders out there doing 2 minutes 0.8, 2 minutes 0.4. So yeah, it's not easy for these guys to do particularly quick lap times in these current conditions. So what we need, boys, is a bit of that wet stuff.
I think so. The question is, when is it going to come?
Just noticing Morris is quite close to the
tunes
back
right
of
now.
Miller's, so we'll just pop Morris's stream on there because he's close to the back of Miller's. So we may well see a double overtake on stream, which would be cool. You can see in the front of your picture there, Kevin DeHaan has managed to pull away from this battle. So he's got himself a bit of breathing space now and is chasing after the top 10. Every position worth so much, as we've said, the long endurance race is worth double points, so it's absolutely worth chasing down every position, even if you think that's why these guys are battling so hard. I think, and then boys for 14th and 15th is because double points is double points.
Definitely, as in, it's not just a point anymore. It's 2 points at least, if not more. The gaps are big between the positions. That makes sense. If you mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even like 12th position is something like 20 points normally, so you're talking 40 points today. Do you know what I mean? So it's such a big haul of points just to finish this long endurance race. It's absolutely worth seeing it through.
I tell you what, a man of many talents is Domingo. He has given us the weather forecast. He said he's checked Adam's stream and there is no rain expected at the moment, which is the next 20 minutes. So it's going to be the latter stages of the race, which is going to spice it up on the strategy, I think.
Well, do you know what? I can actually see that because I've got Adam's stream, which is what I'm using to run the stream on Streamlabs for Foster, but I can't see it. But it's perhaps because I've got it so small. Perhaps that's why it won't come up. Oh, we're seeing a move there from Heaton and a great move up the inside. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Morris gets past Miller's as well. You'll see on the stream.
Car with a run.
Brilliant stuff.
Oh, he's having to defend from car as well in the Porsche. It was nearly a double overtake. Well, nearly a double loss, I should say.
Yeah, that was great stuff. Let's just take a look at the replay and take a look on board with Heaton. Nice and late on the brakes. Just had a nose alongside to give him enough room to make it work. Had to go down to second through there, which is normally a third gear corner, so it shows how much he had to plough the brakes on. But great stuff from him. And gets himself that position up into 13th. But Alan has been defending very well for a very, very long time. But great driving from Matty Heaton there and a great move. And it's nice to catch one live and then get to watch it again with the replay. Got to watch that one twice, boys. What wonderful, wonderful software we have. So Dan Stevens into the pits. Just keeping an eye on things. So it is stringing out a little bit now, and obviously some people have done pits and some of the Artist Miller's into the pits now as well. Be interesting to watch Miller's stream. So oh no, he's not streaming this week, is he? Sorry. Oh, well, that scrap was that idea. I was going to watch him do his pit stop. I thought that'd be interesting to see how long it takes him in the pits, but he's not pitting. But so who do we need to pit so I can watch him? We've missed Foster's. Has Morris done his pit stop yet? Where is he? No, he hasn't. So when Morris pits, we'll jump on board with him and watch him do his pit stop. I tell you what I had, boys, a couple of minutes ago, which we haven't had since last season. Was, do you remember when the sound used to go funny? We used to have that loud gunshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have that a couple of minutes ago?
No, we don't get any sound from the way comes through, it's just purely visual.
We just
Oh
get-
yeah,
we just get
it's a shame. I don't know why.
voices.
I don't know why it doesn't do the desktop sound when you stream that way. But you just have to make noises in your head, I guess.
What, like the guy from Quarter in the F1,
Yeah.
the Meow guy?
What was that? 2017, I think. Oh, that was brilliant. That was epic. Between that and the phone on the back of Lineker's chair, we love a bit. We love a bit of live sport. Absolutely love a bit of live sport. I hope that joke went down well last week, boys. For those watching, I thought it was funny.
I
Anyway,
think it did.
I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, back to cars. What are we talking about? Absolute nonsense as usual. But speaking of cars, Chris Carr, lovely little segue there, is still challenging Davis. So yeah, you alluded to it, but yeah, great to see the Porsche doing well, and great to see a newcomer doing well as well. You know, he's able to challenge these midfield guys. So it looks like we might have another great racer. Hopefully he comes back. This is his debut as far as I'm aware, unless I've forgotten him from before, which is possible. I do have a memory of Dory from Finding Nemo, but if he is new, which I think he is, it'd be great to have somebody else who can battle these midfield guys, because it just makes for great entertainment.
There's always been cars on track as far as I can remember.
Oh, the dad jokes are back, everybody! The dad jokes are back! Absolutely brilliant. Right, so yeah, we're just waiting for the pit stops now, really, and see if anybody can get a bit of a jump in a stop. Interestingly, Ant Brown's managed to pull a little bit away from Wes. His last lap was a 201.1, which is significantly slower than those around. Kingston at 201.9 on the last lap. He's 11 seconds behind those leaders now. So it's looking like Kingston's just going to have... in fact, Kingston's last couple of laps have been so bad.
Oh, car!
Oh,
Ooh.
yep. I'll just shut
On
up for a
track.
sec. A car and a
Basically
mistake there
mounted
from
the speed
Davis.
bump to get
Davis
past.
is going to have to pull out of that,
Ooh.
surely. You can't keep a position off the track like that. But he's going to try, and he does. That's a little bit naughty. In F1 rules, he'd be told to give the position back. It'd be interesting to see. Josh Evans in the pits now.
I think he might get away with it, because I think Car might have just nudged him a little bit when he mounted the speed bump.
Okay, so he knocked him out wide rather than him running out wide.
Yeah, I think so.
Apologies,
Oh,
me
that was close.
pulling a Murray Walker there and calling shit that didn't actually happen, but there we go. As usual. But yes, so Josh Evans is in the pits now, so he's going to obviously tumble down the order as he gets his pit stop done out of the way. What was I going to say? Yeah, interestingly, Kingston's pace has dropped off so much that Lloyd Reed is now only 1.5 seconds behind him. And about to challenge for that third position, so we'll keep an eye on that as we continue to watch this epic battle between Honda and Porsche. I wish Davis had this kind of pace on Tuesday, because I think I would have had him, but he was rapid on Tuesday. Where's that pace gone, Alan? Terrible. You saved it just for me. I thought we were friends. But no, it does appear to be struggling a little bit, but the conditions are a little bit different today, in fairness, and I am, of course, joking. But yeah, Carr definitely got plenty in that Porsche to be proud of so far on his debut. So Beercast now 1.5 seconds behind Brown, but interestingly, Kingston only 1.5 seconds ahead of Lloyd Reed. And back markers in the way as well, so Lloyd Reed proper catching up now to these guys. Oh, there's a change for the lead. Oh, it's a pit stop. Sorry, that was a proper that was a proper Mariism. That was, wasn't it? Oh, change for the lead. Oh, yeah, yes, because he's done a pit stop. Yeah, great. But anyway, and first into the pits now. Will the undercut or the overcut work? Maybe our resident amazing quality driver in the YouTube chat, Dominic Ingle, can give us some insight. Silverstone endurance race, Dom. Undercut or overcut? What's going to work better here? Answers on a postcard. We will await the answer. Answers on a postcard as soon as you're ready. Anytime you like, Dom. Come on, get on it. Pull your finger up. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to know. You know, what works better, the undercut or the overcut? Will Wes pit on the next lap. All interesting stuff that we've got yet to come, because they can all. You might not get an overtake out of it, but it can put a 1 second gap down to a 0.1. What?
Thomas said undercut.
Undercut is better, so I mean, by that maths, and Wes has absolutely no choice other than to pit now and damage limit, or go long and hope for the best. I hope somebody hope for a mistake, or hope for some rain or something. By my calculations. Oh, I think that was Artis Miller's getting a bit wide in the background there. Yeah, it was. Just getting a little bit out of shape. But yeah, Sam Brown out of the pits now. It was 63 seconds in the pits altogether for him. So he's now down in 9th. So will Bakehouse do his pit stop now, or will he throw caution to the wind? That is the question.
Da, da, da.
Time will tell.
Stay tuned to find out.
He's pitting.
He's going straight in.
He's pitting.
Not taking the risk. Oh, where's this rain we were promised, boys? We want a bit of that wet stuff.
Wes' option. Dom's just saying Wes' option is go as long as he can and then have a bigger tyre delta advantage on second stint, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was alluding to, Dom. I thought maybe he'd risk it and go really long. Maybe that's what Lloyd Reed will do. There we go. We can talk about Lloyd now. He's now out in front. He's not pitting yet. Maybe he's going long. And the tyres do go off here. And based on the lap times we're seeing, I mean, I could hazard a guess that you could be looking at probably 2 seconds a lap with fresher tyres at the end of the race. But obviously you are going to lose time in the meantime as well with dead tyres. And there is still an hour to go. So the big question now is, are we going to see any of that wet stuff? Is Bernie Eccleston there with his sprinkler system at the side of the track ready to turn it on? That is the big question.
I'm so happy that someone knows that that's a thing.
I do have a little bit of trivia. I'm not quite the encyclopedic knowledge that you are with regards to F1, but I do have a little bit of knowledge.
Wes has exited the pits.
So Wes is right behind him though. So he did gain an advantage with the overcut. So that's interesting. Completely the opposite to Dominic Ingle. Dominic, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. No, jokes aside, and I am joking. And Brown was making his way through traffic at the time. Oh, Kingston is showing as...
He's just left the pits. Oh, he's got yellow. He's
yeah,
gone straight on.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Kingston's showing as having an issue, so he's going to lose even more time now. He had an issue at the pits. But no, Ant Brown coming out of his pit stop did have back markers to deal with, which has cost him time. So just to retract, I'm not saying Dominic Ingle doesn't know what he's talking about. I am, of course.
He's laughing anyway, Mike. He's laughing anyway.
I am joking. Nah, you haven't got a clue. Not a clue. No, I think Ant Brown having to deal with back markers such as you see in front of you there has cost him. But this is interesting now. This is the de facto battle for the lead, and I think Bakehouse managed to make his way through that back marker a little bit easier. Not a back marker, actually. That is actually for position, because Ben Simpson hasn't stopped yet. But, de facto back marker, if you like. But I think he managed to make his way through that a little bit easier. But no, Brown has gained about half a second through there. But so it's basically back to... what's that song? As It Was. Is basically where we are. No different to when we left it. So Balsili and Reed both now into the pits as well. So the interesting one now is Reed. Will he have jumped Kingston? I would imagine so, with Kingston's stop and then those issues out the pits. It was quite a quick stop. It was under a minute, which is quite quick for a stop. And as we've been talking about that, this battle still ongoing. Mooney having a good old ding-dong with Barnard as well. They've closed up after their pit stop, so I've just popped that into the bottom left-hand corner. Mooney going for his usual favourite move, late on the brakes, and I think he's going to get it done. And he does.
Whoa.
Mooney up past Barnard.
Nice.
Barnard trying to fight it back, and as we watch this battle, I think we're just going to take a quick look at the replay for these guys because it looks like it was brilliant. Brilliant racing. So this is the start of it. Mooney late on the brakes and gets the move done, but then runs a little bit wide. That allowed Barnard to come up alongside and goes around the outside like Eminem or a Trailer Park Girl, depending on your outlook. And then they stick side by side all the way down the National Straight, and then he tucks back in. That was great racing. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Really entertaining to watch as well. So Barnard has disappeared. Oh, I wonder if he's had an off. Just going to take a look at another replay here. Oh yeah, you just caught the back end of it, but he's had a spin. I'm not sure if there was contact. No, that is different car, so it doesn't show there was contact, so that's interesting. Yeah, but Barnard with a mistake then by the look of it, but which is a shame. He's got some big damage now. He's lost a place to Balseeley as well. So it looks like he'll have to make another pit stop. That is a huge shame. Yeah, you can see he can barely keep that car running in a straight line. It is absolutely dead. What a shame that is. Here's Lloyd Reed now, stuck behind Alan Davis after his pit stop. That is not what he would want, but what he is a couple of cars ahead of Alex Kingston. You can see there Kingston is at the back of this train, Lloyd Reed in the middle of it, so Lloyd Reed has jumped Kingston, partly due to the pit stop and partly due to Kingston having that off on his outlap after the pit stop. So Bierkos and Brown proper close together as well. Oh, there's been a bit of contact, I think, between Lloyd and Tickner. He's just flashing up there with white flags, but all appears to be okay. Kingston making his way up past Richard Arnold. Arnold yet to pit. Alan Davis, who is the head of this bunch of cars as well, and Chris Carr there as well, has also yet to pit. Chris Carr did get past Davis in the end. But oh, this is proper close again after all these stops, isn't it, boys? But of course, some of these cars haven't stopped yet, as we said, so it is a bit all over the place. But regardless, great entertainment for us.
Yeah, I can't believe what we're witnessing. It's just been like this for over an hour now. It's unbelievable, and it's just so good to see new names being part of this list of people putting in stellar performances.
It is brilliant, and Davis, I mean, even the cars he's not really battling because he hasn't pitted yet, he's still not giving them an inch of space that he doesn't have to, is he? He's still battling them every step of the way.
So he shouldn't. He's giving himself airtime. We love watching this stuff, so keep doing it.
No, I mean, you do see it in leagues, don't you, where people go, oh, I can't battle him, he's faster than me, what's the point? This is how it should be. People should have to work for it. And at the end of the day, that can change races. It can change, you know, who... Oh, Wes Bierkos back into the pits. It looks like a drive-through penalty. We'll wait for confirmation on that, but it looks like a drive-through penalty for Wes Bierkos. So I think he's pinged track limits 3 times. No, he's going to his pit stop. Could be a stop-go maybe if he sped in the pit lane, or something. Or it could be damage. I don't know. But back into the pits goes Wes Bierkos. So I mean, and Brown's to lose now. But anyway, back to this epic battle. We've got
look at this.
They're all over the place. There's 1,000 of them. Oh, this is absolutely brilliant. It's just like a million cars everywhere. So Chris Carr hasn't stopped yet. He's leading this pack. Then you've got Alan Davis, Lloyd Reed, Darren Tickner, Alex Kingston, all battling for position. Rich Arnold hanging on to the back of them as well. It's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Just so close.
I sense this.
Oh, there's contact!
Oh, there's contact!
There is contact. That is Alan Davis.
Sickening.
Lloyd Reed is the one who he made contact with. We don't have the particulars, so let us take a look at the replay and see what happened. We'll jump up to Helicam and get as good a view as we can of this. So here we see Davis defending from Reed. I think Reed goes to the outside. Yeah. So he's later on the brakes. Oh, I think he just... Racing incident, boys, for you?
It's hard to really tell. Yeah, it's probably racing incident for me.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's 50-50. I think they both turned into each other rather than it being one way or the other, in my personal opinion. But Reed now challenging Carr and trying to get himself up into fourth. And of course, the quicker he cleared those cars, the better for him, because Kingston still has to clear those cars. And of course, they're battling for position, particularly Tickner, who has done his pit stop, is now battling Kingston for position. So he's under no obligation to let him past, even if he was a proverbial backmarker, which he isn't. He is battling him for position. So not going to be easy for Kingston. And I suppose that's the one silver lining for Foster, is that Kingston is also losing some positions here, but not enough to make a difference to Foster's day, with Foster currently in 16th position, but he is only one lap down now. So pit stops coming thick and fast, so I'm expecting drivers to proper close up on each other and more of this action to happen, but we'll see how it goes once people have done their pit stops. Rich Arnold in the pit at the moment. Alan Davis hasn't pitted yet. I'm sure Alan a little bit hot under the collar at the moment with that accident. But yeah, I mean, it looked 50-50, didn't it, boys? I mean, it's so hard for us to tell from one quick replay, but it just looked 6-1 afters in the other.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's when I'm going around that corner, I think it's just different kind of turnings, and just, as you say, it's hard to tell really.
Tell you what, I'm just going to go and make a very quick coffee, and then I'll be back. So give me 10 minutes, and if I miss anything, shout really loudly. I might hear you 3 rooms away. I might not, but I might.
10 minutes? Take your phone with you. You can watch it. You take your phone with you. You can watch the stream.
It was a figure of speech. It'll probably be about 2.
Take your phone with you. You can watch the stream while you're gone.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Take your PC with you.
Yeah, come on.
Right, yeah.
Pull your finger out.
Go get out and take it with you.
Pull your finger
Don't
out.
mind me, Mum. I'm just plonking this massive tower on the bench.
Or bring a kettle to your room.
Brilliant stuff. That's what we want to see.
I'll be back. I'll be back in possibly under 6
Full commitment.
And speaking of full commitment, Davis is full committed to this. There's been a bit of contact there. Tickner, I think, and Kingston have made a bit of contact. I'm just going to take a look at the replay and see what happened here, because it's showing contact for Tickner and a losing a position. So here he is. Oh, it's a back marker. Oh no, that's not what you want to see. Thomas Denman, the back marker, making contact and battling for position with somebody who's got no right battling with. Oh, that's not good.
Not good to see.
The young Welshman making the mistake there, and that has cost Tickner a podium position at the moment, and that will be frustrating. You see him in the pits there as Alan Davis finally stops for his pit stop. Not intentional by the young Welshman, but you should not be battling people on the lead lap, especially when they're battling for a podium. But that has freed Kingston up now to go on and battle with the Reed. But all that happening, all of that means Ant Brown has now got a 30-second lead out at the front, and he's out on his own. Absolutely in no man's land. Brilliant stuff. So, where are we then? Where are we? I'm in my living room. So Davis and Tickner back into the pits again after that crash. I'm sure, yeah, he's just heading out. So Paul Prescott up to 13th now. He's kept his nose nice and clean after those early exchanges, and he's now ahead of Alan Davis, so that's interesting. It looks like Paul has managed to do some good, clean, consistent laps after that opening stint, and has finds himself ahead of Davis now, so that's good going for him.
Good one I've just spotted as well. Miller's up into 9th. We were saying before, good drive. It keeps going up.
Yeah. I mean, he was just in the top 10, I believe, so he's gained a position. Ben Simpson as well in 10th at the moment, absolutely fantastic. Chris Carr 11th, shows that he has done his pit stop now. Rich Arnold 12th, so it's all sorted itself out. With a big loser in all that really has been Alan Davis because of that accident that cost him a good 10 seconds.
Josh Evans up into 4th. Has he pitted yet?
He has done his pit stop, yeah. So Josh Evans has done really, really well. Didn't qualify well. Didn't think the McLaren was going to be particularly strong around here, but he's just kept at it. And yeah, 4th position. Yes, I mean, he's gained a couple of positions from other people, falling off track, etc. But he's kept his nose clean, and he's got himself up into 4th. So brilliant. And Michael Mooney, just to reiterate, 5th position. Started in the pit lane, and is currently in 5th position, and catching Evans for that 4th position as well. But this is the closest battle we've got on track at the moment. Kingston versus Reed. Equal machinery. They'll have different setups to suit their preference, of course. Car 80 versus car 77. And Kingston, your defending champion and current championship leader, battling away for 2nd position at the moment. He's been gifted 3rd due to Tekna being taken out by a back marker, and that is not the first time we've seen that in an endurance race, but it does happen. Like I said, not intentional, not pointing blame, but it was just one of those unfortunate accidents that sometimes does happen. I'm sure he will learn and move on.
What season was it where it was quite bad in one of the seasons where it was a big accident, wasn't it? It was Foster and...
Yeah, it was season 1, wasn't it, with the back markers. We had the first endurance race, wasn't it? It was a night race at Imola, and we had back marker instance, didn't we? Took out a load of the front runners. We had it at Kyalami in the endurance race there as well. We've had it a couple of the endurance races. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. It's great for us. It adds a bit of entertainment, but it is a shame for the drivers.
It's not the first, and it won't be the last, will it?
No, certainly not. I would expect we'll probably see more of those types of incidents. Tekna has made his way back past Davis now, so let's just take a quick look at that, see how we got the move done. So he is battling away Ferrari versus Honda. Just gets a better run. Looks like he's going to be later on the brakes. Yeah, much better run later on the brakes, gets a move done, nice and simple. So good move there from the Ferrari. Unfortunately for him, he's no longer battling for 3rd, though. That was for 13th or 14th, sorry, and he is now battling for 13th. But yeah, painful is absolutely.
I suppose after so much time as well, I think you could be easily to lose your head a bit about it as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's so easy to do, isn't it? We've all been there. Where, you've. And that's the biggest thing with these is we have lost 2 drivers this evening, unfortunately. Ash Humphries was one of them. Not sure if he had a disconnection. It didn't show that there was any incident involving him, but hard to tell. One other driver has left as well. I can't for the life of me remember who it is or why. Sorry? Do say something, sorry. Nope. But anyway, but yes, we have lost 2 drivers and we are down to 23, but still a very good showing, and kudos to all of them is my point for finishing the race even when you've had a bit of a disaster. But it is worth doing, as we said, this race more than others because it is double points for the long endurance. So 40 minutes longer than standard endurance races at the end of the day, which is a race in itself if you think about it logically like that. So we are 42 minutes to go, so 21 laps or so, depending on when the leader crosses the line. 21, maybe 22 laps, and Brown basically got it all wrapped up now. He just needs to sit down, relax, and treat it like a practice session, really. Proper close battle now for 2nd position, and that was a great run out of there from Kingston. Looks like he's got a bit more speed than Reed. Reed is going to have to be pretty brave on the brakes and around the outside to make it work. He can't do that, and Kingston goes through. Oh, Kingston runs wide though, and that's going to give Reed the run as they come down towards the chicane. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Reed is going to have the inside line for the important corner here, which will give him the benefit onto the start-finish straight that they use for the F1. And up he goes. Back into 2nd. Absolutely fantastic racing. Brilliant stuff. really, really close side-by-side racing from the two of them.
I can't hear anything. Is that just me?
No, it's not just you. I'll make sure we can.
Was it just...
Sorry, I just realised my comms team couldn't hear me, so I've just left and rejoined, hoping that they can now hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so I've
We can.
just sorting it out. It does that sometimes for some reason. It seems to mute me after a while for the longer races. It did it a couple of weeks ago, didn't it? So
Yes.
yes. The stream was fine because I could see my volume thing bouncing up and down. But yeah, just you guys couldn't hear me. So that'll explain why Dougie didn't answer my question earlier. I thought.
I was just sat there going, hello.
I thought perhaps you'd gone for a coffee, maybe as well. But yeah, I don't know if you saw that, guys, but it was great side-by-side racing from the two Mercedes there at the front. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I missed it when I was trying to find out what was going on. I was very confused.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely fair enough. So let me see if I can get it on a replay, so you can see what I saw, because it was absolutely great fun. So yeah, I timed it perfectly. Yes, champion. I used the custom one. So Reed with a mistake through Maggots and Beckett's. This gave Kingston the run, as you can see. And then Kingston gets his braking wrong, runs wide, which allowed Reed back alongside, and then they battle nicely through the chicane side by side again. And that's all she wrote. And as we rejoin it, they're in the same position, basically doing the same thing. This is no longer a replay, apologies. This is live again now, and they're back close again. So these two proper ding-donging for this second position. And Tickner and Davis still battling away in the background as well. But yeah, great side-by-side racing from the two of them there, boys.
It was a great race, to be fair. And I had a thought, where is this rain?
I know.
When's it gonna come, this rain?
Yeah, I mean, every time I went into the practice server, it rained. So where it's gone today, I don't know. Which is it's a bit of a shame. But Kingston coming alongside Reed again. Reed looks like he's struggling for pace in certain corners. Maybe his tyres just starting to go off now. We're just past that 20-minute mark since the pit stop, so maybe he's going through a bit of a graining period. But Kingston looks like he's finally got that move done. And there we go. He is up into second position, albeit 33.7 seconds behind the leader.
Ouch.
Almost unbelievable that has happened. Beerhouse down in 6 now after the second pit stop. I did say I was going to see if it was a drive-through. It was a 30-second stop-go penalty, which I think...
That's got to be speeding in the pit lane.
I think that's speeding in the pit lane, yeah. Maybe Dom can confirm, because I think you get a drive-through for track limits and a stop-go for speeding in the pit lane. Maybe if Dom is still tuned in, he can confirm that, because he's done a far more racing than I have.
I know that Tom Denman's basically, he's just popped in to say he's sorry to take it. I don't know if Dougie picked up on that.
Yeah, so he's a back marker, and he unfortunately took Tickner out when he was in third. So Tickner now finds himself battling for 13th, and this is the replay we're currently watching. Prescott going wide, Tickner just nipping ahead of him, and then you got Davis battling away with him as well. Adam Foster behind these guys, trying to make up positions and catch up as well, because he's a couple of a lap down on these guys, but still a fair amount of time to go. But as you can see, great close racing, great entertainment. These guys are giving us this evening. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
Dom has confirmed speeding in the pit lane.
Speeding in the pit lane. Thank you to our resident driver for giving us that information. He's the FDSR equivalent of Martin Brundle.
He's like our Ted Kravitz, isn't he?
He's like, yeah, but he's a driver, so he's more Brundle. He's Ted Kravitz and Brundle all rolled into one. Martin Kravitz.
If we had a baby.
Yes,
Martin
indeed.
Kravitz.
Martin
Ted
Kravitz.
Brundle.
Ted Brundle.
Ted Brundle minds with Dom Ingle, though.
Ted Brundle sounds like a serial killer. I'll give it that.
That was Ted Bundy, wasn't it?
Martin Kravitz sounds a bit like a rock star, but you know. Anyway,
It does actually.
yeah. You know, nothing to do with Lenny, obviously. But anyway, there we go. Back to this thing called motor racing.
Back to reality.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes the rabbit. Where are we? We are in Silverstone. It is the 2nd of February, 2023. Mooney, I said he was catching the back of Evans, and there he is. He is catching the back of Evans. So he is quicker, so it could be a 4th place on the cards of Mooney here. And I'm going to say it now, if he gets it and he stays there, he's driving the race, because starting from the pit lane and getting that high is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
He had some serious pace on Tuesday, like.
He did.
Can't lie.
He did. He was very quick, but he seemed inconsistent. But he seems to have dialed those inconsistencies out. Now I've said that, he's going to crash any moment, because that's how commentators' curse works.
Yep.
But yeah, brilliant from him. And tell you what we'll also do is pull up his onboard so you can see. You can see both at the same time. That is what we wanted to see. So we can get the driver's perspective and the live TV perspective. What wonderful technology we have, eh? Although his stream will be about 2-3 what is it? No, it's only about 2 seconds behind, actually. It's not too bad looking at it. It's about 1.5 to 2 seconds behind, which is good stuff. Good stuff. So Foster's got his way I was wrong, actually. Foster was actually battling with Davis and Tickner on that. He's actually back on that lap now. So he's back on the lead lap. Man, he's made up some spots. So Foster has had a stop-go penalty as well as his normal pit stop as well. So, wow, I hadn't seen that earlier. So I'm just looking at the statistics, that's all. And yeah, he's also had a stop-go penalty. So that is interesting to know. Oh my God, I've just discovered something.
What is that?
Well, I've got like shortcuts I didn't know I had on the software that mean I can quickly select what driver I want and switch the camera at the same time. Brilliant. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Mooney, right, because I'm on Evans, and I'm going to go to Mooney and go down to Splitter. Ready, steady, go. Oh, look at that. He's discovered...
working with a commentary professional.
Honestly, absolutely brilliant. But no, this is wonderful. Yeah, a new feature I've discovered that I didn't know I had.
I'm going to start calling you Ron Howard.
Yeah, well, I am Ginger. That's the only thing that we got.
That's the only comparison we can take.
I'm Ginger, and we both love motor racing. Oh, mistake from Evans! He goes right, and through goes Mooney. So that is that. So let us have a look at the replay. Let's jump on with Evans and see if we can see what happened from his point of view. This is Evans coming down towards that corner. This is the driver's view. Oh, he just way late on the brakes, wasn't he? And it just didn't go well for him.
Sadly not.
Shame for the young Welshman, but there we go. And he is now down to 5th, and Mooney is up to 4th. Absolutely fantastic drive from Michael Mooney so far. Bakehouse catching these two as well. He should basically be battling for the lead. He has got fastest lap of the race at the moment, according to the official figures. Even though it shows Ant Brown has done a better lap, I believe that probably was an invalidated lap, and that's why it hasn't counted as the fastest lap. But I am, of course, guessing, because I do not know. Evans appearing to be able to stick with Mooney at the moment, but after a couple of laps I would expect to see him drop off a bit, because Mooney was catching him at a rate of knots. So
Lloyd still managed to stay within 1.3, 1.2 of Alex as well in the battle for P2, so not quite over yet, is it? I mean, it may as well be, but Alex can't afford to make a little mistake, because Lloyd will just take that right back.
yeah, absolutely, it's proper close. And to be fair, like I say, he kept Kingston behind, so he's clearly got the pace. In terms of lap comparison, they match in lap times, both their best and their and their latest lap times. Sorry, are nigh on identical. So Lloyd definitely got the pace. He just struggled a little bit when he was in front, and like I say, I wonder whether his tyres is coming up to that 20-minute mark. We're just going through a bit of a graining period, and maybe they've come back to him a bit. I don't know what your boys' thoughts are on that. Perhaps that is something that has happened. Who knows?
May well be. Maybe a little bit of pressure as well of trying to keep Alex behind. And now he's the attacker instead of the defender. He might be finding a little bit more pace.
I always find it easier to be the attacker than the defender.
Oh,
I
100%.
tend to lose a lot of pace when I'm defending.
And Adam
Yeah, because
Foster.
you end up just driving on your mirrors. Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike.
I was just going to say Adam Foster is in the pits for a third time, and that is
Ooh.
absolutely game over now. I mean, he managed to fight back, so he was almost back on the lead lap. But that is his third visit to the pits. Scott Balsilli's had to drive through. Matty Heaton's had to drive through. I'm just seeing these, guys. Bartong's had to drive through, but I think we saw that one. So, yeah, plenty of drive-through penalties out there, so plenty of track limits abuse. And a couple of stop-goes as well for those speeding in the pit lane. It's easily done. Absolutely so easy to do. That is faux show. But yeah, interesting, isn't it, how quickly Mooney and Kingston caught up with Reed and Evans, but the fact that Reed and Evans are able to actually stick with them after the overtake has happened. But like we said earlier, it is, sometimes you get into a new groove, don't you, when you're following a quicker driver, and maybe that's happened. But the thing I'm interested in here is Birkhouse catching these guys at about a second lap at the moment, so
wow.
He'll be on the back of these before you know it. Still just under 30 minutes to go, so a lot can happen, much can change in that time. One little mistake can be the difference between
tell you what,
winning and losing.
If Wes claws back Michael and Evans after a 30-second stop and go, so that's like what, a net loss of maybe 50 seconds, Mike?
I tell you exactly how much it was. It was 57 seconds.
If he's lost a minute and still manages to finish P4, that is one hell of a recovery. Just as much as Michael's is from the pit lane. I just think that's the best damage limitation Wes can hope for at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure he's furious with himself. I mean, track limits is one of those things, it's easy to make that mistake, split-second decisions and, just that little bit too wide a couple of times. But stop goes when you speed in the pit lane, you do kick yourself for it because it's such a costly mistake. And it is easy to do, but it is something that I think you probably beat yourself up for more than a drive-through for track limits. One, because it's more costly, and two, because it is so avoidable. Just be patient. Just take that extra second on the way in to make sure your car is at the correct speed. It's one of those things. But hey, who am I? Just a commentator. What do I know? Hey, what are you laughing at? You're supposed to say... Oh, what are you talking about, Mike? You know loads. You're brilliant. No. Just laugh at him. No. I know who my friends are.
The dagger was inserted and twisted there.
It was. He flicked his knife out and off he went. So, interestingly, Chris Carr's really come into this race. He's built into it and got quicker and quicker. His lap times are now 2 flat, and he's catching Artis Millers by a second a lap, and is now right on the back of Millers. So, great drive from our rookie. I'm not saying he's a rookie driver, but he's rookie to the league. Chris Carr doing an absolutely stellar job. Excuse me. He might have a go here. He's looking very quick, but as myself and Aaron can contest to, the problem with the Porsche is its straight line speed. So he'll be nice and quick through Maggots and Beckett's. Lots of advantage. Get a great exit out here, and then the accelerator pedal will go, nah, you're right, mate. Maybe next time. I mean, those times I pull out and I was like literally ahead of Davis, and by the end of the straight he was back ahead of me purely on straight line speed, was painful. Absolutely painful.
If the Porsche had like 5 extra horsepower, it'd probably be the most overpowered car in the game.
Yeah, for overall performance, yeah, absolutely.
It just made ridiculously
Yeah.
fast.
But I mean, hopefully they'll on the next update they'll add a little bit more straight line speed back to it, because it's always been not the quickest in a straight line, but what it is at the moment is just ridiculous when you can literally, you know, get such a better exit. You go from being behind a car to ahead of it, and then by the end of the straight you're back behind it purely on straight line speed. That's not right. Mooney into the pits. Oh, I think he's hit track limits. I think he must have hit track limits. And he's got a drive through. Oh, I'm gutted for him. What a drive he'd given us. But back to the live action. I think it is a drive through. I'll just confirm if and when he exits the pits. But Birkhouse now right on the back of the McLaren of Josh Evans.
This just shows why keeping it on the black stuff is key, because you're just going to punish yourself in the long run. It's better to lose a second in a lap than push the limits and end up losing 57.
Now, interestingly, Mooney did stop. I think he may have underfueled.
Oh, I wonder if he's anticipated rain.
Yeah,
I wonder if a few people have done that, Mike.
Possibly, that'll be interesting to see. But I'm going to take a stab, yeah, that he's underfueled, because it was a short stop, no tyre change, so he was stationary for 13 seconds. So I'm thinking it's a quick splash and dash, and he's slightly underfueled. But time will tell. We'll pop back to the battle for 10th. And once again, the Porsche faster in all the wrong places. And Artis Miller's just using the straight line speed of that Aston to keep himself ahead.
Kevin Tahan to P7. That's a good effort.
Yeah, he's recovered really, really well. And I just popped him because he was showing as a white flag, but it appears
these
to have
guys
just
are
been a
blue
glitch.
flags in front of him, aren't they?
Oh, they're side by side
Oh,
again,
side
the
by
two
side.
Mercs. And Kingston once again just pops out ahead, but these guys having a proper battle as well. Birkhouse and Evans having a proper battle as well. Who's going to come out ahead? Reed later on the brakes. He's got the inside line. PDF move. And Kingston loses that position. Well, Lloyd Reed showing that, you know, whatever that issue was that caused Kingston to catch up and overtake him, it's gone now. Brilliant stuff. And Carr has got past Miller's as well, so let's take a look at that replay. Oh, suddenly we've lost Carr's livery. It's gone to plain black from that blue and green colour he had, which
That's
is
weird.
I thought I was on the wrong car for a moment then. But
Hacks! It's all hacks!
anyway, there we go. Through he goes. Brilliant move. And Evans and Birkhouse, excuse me, still side by side, having a proper ding dong. So we still got plenty of drivers battling for position. And now his livery's back again. That's really strange. Here we got Birkhouse trying his best to get past Holland versus Wales. And Evans just placing his car exactly where it needs to be.
I'm just looking at Adam's stream now. It doesn't look like there's any rain due for the next 15 minutes, if I'm reading it correctly.
Yeah, it looks like that is it then. It's going to stay dry. So we did our best to get a bit of rain.
Kingston's so close to the back of Lloyd. It must be really tense.
Proper close between those two. Proper close between these two. It's hard to know which one to watch. And the gap is slightly smaller in the Kingston Reed battle, so we'll just pop to that one. And now that's gone bigger, and the gap is slightly smaller in the Evans battle. But we'll just bear with it a moment as Evans and Birkhouse are going through the first couple of corners. So we'll just jump to that just in case there's an issue through Maggots and Beckett. So we've seen a couple of accidents through Maggots and Beckett so far, so we could see a mistake which may lead to a run. Oh, much better run for the BMW there, it looked like. I wonder whether he will get a run.
Oh, he has. Side by side. Going into Stowe.
Who's going to call it? Who's going to come out on top here?
I think Evans will.
Yeah, I reckon Evans will.
Oh, he's been very conservative.
Oh, they've made contact! Oh, they've made contact. And
Oh.
Morris is here taking advantage.
no, that's it's Foster.
It's
Is
Foster.
that not Morris? It's Foster.
He's just unlapped himself effectively.
Yeah, that's Foster. He's not really in this.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, contact from the two of them there, and we'll just take a look at the replay, see if we can see what happened there. So this is it as it happened. I'm not sure if he was a little bit out of control of the car, Evans there, and he sort of slid into him, or whether he didn't know he was there and hit him. I don't know. I can't quite tell. Any opinions on that one, lads?
I was just going to say it looked like the car skipped a bit or lost traction or something, it just kicked out.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Aaron?
I don't know. I just wonder if he was aware that Wes was going to be there, and then maybe he's worried that he made it too easy and got a bit ambitious on the loud pedal. I don't know. It was really bizarre to watch. It was as if he was aware he was too conservative and then overcompensated for that.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Can't really call
I've
it.
not really seen anything like that before.
No, it just, like I say, it looked like he was out of control, but at the same time it didn't. It very, very strange. But I'm sure that battle will resume. He's only a second lap behind, and Birkhouse is faster at the moment, assuming neither of them have got any major damage from that little tap. We should see that battle resume very, very shortly. But back to this battle, the battle for P2. And Lloyd Reed still ahead of Kingston at the moment after making that overtake. Great driving from these two today. They've been both battling away. Both have had incidents and a couple of bad moments as well, but they've recovered well and kept their calm and really come back into it.
Is there anything worse, Mike, than catching a car that's exactly the same as yours because you're both arguably in the same strengths and weaknesses as each other? Or does it not really faze you?
It's one of those things that you're not going to have an advantage in terms of the technology or the equipment or however you want to word it. So it all comes down to the driver really, but I guess it depends who I'm battling. If I know I'm quicker than them, then I'll just put pressure on them. But if I was up against somebody, like a Birkhouse or a Foster or somebody who's just clearly a quicker driver than me, then yeah, I'd probably be dreading it. Mooney has lost a place to Simpson. What a drive from Simpson. Top 10.
Yeah.
He's been absolutely brilliant out there today. Kept his nose clean. I wonder how he made that move. Unfortunately, it's gone past our replay limit, so I can't quite tell. But yeah, Simpson up past Mooney. Doesn't say why, but whether it was Mooney going off or a genuine overtake, I do not know. But anyway, back to this. But yeah, just a special mention for Simpson there. Absolutely great drive from him. So with Mooney getting his pit strategy wrong, are we rethinking our thoughts for driver of the race, gentlemen, with less than 18 minutes to go?
I'm sort of leaning towards Josh Evans. I'm leaning towards Kevin. But I think the main taker for me is Dan Simpson in P8. I just feel like he's kept his nose clean. He's not done anything particularly special, but he's proved the point of keeping it on the black stuff, not taking too many risks, and in the 2-hour race, someone who you would not have said would finish 8th at the start is probably on for a top 10.
Let me just give you a little bit of information which may sway your vote.
Okay. Go on.
These three drivers have gained the following number of positions. Artis Millers has gained 13 positions from 24th to 11th.
Nice.
Chris Carr has gained 15 positions from 25th to 10th. And Kevin DeHaan has gained 16 positions from 23rd to 7th.
Kevin DeHaan, driver of the race.
I was going to go with, before the stats, I was going to go with Carr, and I think based off the stats, I'm going to stick with Carr for my route.
So,
Just because, one, it's his, I think, debut as far as I'm aware, and he's done really, really well and worked his way up from towards back.
we've just seen a replay there of Bakehouse getting up past Evans. And he's made that move sticks, so he's got himself up to 4th, and that is where he stays. So great move there from Wes, and he is now up into 4th position. But the battle for 2nd continues between Kingston. Morris is also pretty close. Morris has recovered up to 6th, and he's getting pretty close to Evans as well. So I'm just going to pop Morris's stream on there, so we can keep an eye on that battle while we watch Kingston's battle with Reed as well. And Josh Evans with an off, and you just saw the replay there. Evans losing it through Maggots and Beckett's, and Morris has got that position now. So Morris up into 5th. Good recovery drive from him in the Ferrari, and Evans down to 6th now. After that little off, they just lost the back end of the McLaren through Maggots and Beckett's. And yeah, I'm torn. What we don't know, and this might sound harsh, he may well, but at this point, what we don't know is whether Chris Carr's ever going to turn up again, because we have seen drivers come literally race once and never race again. So I'm more inclined to give it to somebody who is properly in the championship, so it benefits
Base it
them.
off up, then I'd go DeHaan.
Yeah, that's my inclination, and it's no disrespect to Chris Carr. I don't know the guy from Adam, not Adam Foster. Adam as in like Adam and Eve. Sorry, really bad joke. But my point being, if we do see a lot of drivers, they turn up to the race once and then they never come again, and it would be a shame to give a driver the race point to somebody who doesn't officially enter the championship. You have to complete 2 races to be entered into the championship tables. So for that reason, I'm more inclined to edge towards Kevin DeHaan. I don't know if you boys agree with that assessment.
No, I would agree with that.
It's unanimous.
Awesome. So based, that's our initial assessment. There is 13 minutes for somebody to do something amazing and change our minds. But we will see. But we saw Kingston going very, very wide for a moment there out of Maggots and Beckett's, but he's collected the car and is still very, very close to Reed in front of him. So no major dramas there. Michael Mooney sticking with Ben Simpson as it stands. Josh Evans has had to make a pit stop, so that is going to, I think he must have picked up damage. Kevin DeHaan up to 6th now. That's another position gain for Kevin. Disappointment of the race for me is Bart Tonks. It just hasn't gone well for Bart. He was so quick on Tuesday. I'm gutted for him. I was really hoping he would have had a really good afternoon today and been comfortably in sort of top 6, but it just hasn't gone his way today, and he's 16 laps off the lead at the back. But on the flip side of that, he's finishing, and that's the most important thing. Matt Heaton pretty close to Alan Davis, battling away for 14th position. Tickner and Arnold battling away in front as well, and they are just ahead of them, is Artis and Millers as well. I'm just going to pop Mooney's stream on because he's having a battle with Simpson again and trying to get that position back that he lost, so we can watch 2 battles at once. Mooney much stronger under the brakes there as we watch this battle. Ferrari versus Honda versus Aston Martin. Oh, it looked really late there from Rich Arnold, and it was.
Oh no!
It was proper late, and
take the through.
I believe the phrase is a day late and a dollar short, and I believe that is what that was. So let us take a look at the replay and take a look at what happened from Rich Arnold's cockpit. So we see coming down to the chicane. Oh, he just did it to avoid an accident. In his defence, he did it to avoid an accident. Miller's was right in his prime braking spot, and he did it to avoid an accident. So, in his defence, I think he can be forgiven for that. It's a shame though, because that was shaping up to be a decent battle, and it's denied us a little bit of entertainment. But we'll just take a quick look at Tickner's overtake. This is a quick replay. Oh, we've missed it. I tried to take a look at the quick replay of Tickner overtaking Artis Millers, but we've missed it. So there we go. That's not happening. Heaton's still behind Davis. Kingston's still behind Reed. Mooney is now in clear air. Morris catching up to Bakehouse. That is interesting. Let's pop his stream up here. You see Morris has got Bakehouse in his sights. So 4th position still on for Morris. So Morris started 12th and is currently in 4th. He's got the move done on Bakehouse, so I didn't see that because I was looking at a different screen. So let us take a look at the replay and see how that happened. It's gone to the wrong driver. There we go. So there's Morris, Bakehouse in front. What's it going to be, boys? Oh, a mistake from Wes. A mistake from Wes, late on the brakes. Too late for his own good. And Morris up to 4th now. So that means he has gained, as I said, 8 positions. And finds himself in 4th. And he's had a few adventures today as well. So a good recovery drive for Morris there. I think he'd be chuffed to bits with that. 4th place. I don't know if you boys believe any differently. Maybe you think, oh no. Maybe you think he'll be extremely disappointed with 4th place. I don't know.
I'm just taking it in because I think Morris had a moment, didn't he, very early on?
He did.
So
yeah, he did.
I wonder what could have been, because I'm just wondering how much time he might have lost out through that, and ultimately whether it's a total of 30 seconds, if you know what I mean, because that's the distance to Kingston.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think it quite will be, but I'm just thinking, you know.
I mean, it's safe to assume.
Shoulda, coulda, would-have.
Yeah, safe to assume. I think he would have been in with a shout comfortably in with a shout of a podium. I'm not saying he would have got it, but he definitely would have been there or thereabouts.
Someone who we were saying would be disappointed with qualifying, and look where he's going to finish. He's going to finish P4.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, qualified P12. Going to finish P4. Artis Miller's into the pits. I assume he's probably hit track limits a couple of times, so he's going to drop right down the order, unfortunately. He's had such a good race, Artis Miller's, but a couple of mistakes in the second half of the race. Drive-through penalty there drops him down to 15th, but a shame for him because he looked really competitive and looked on for a top 10, but it's been not been meant to be today, unfortunately, as we continue to watch Kingston in these last 8 minutes battle away with Lloyd Reed.
I was just going to mention how disappointing for Adam Foster today. I think he didn't have the best of qualities, and he's just had a bad luck from there on, I think.
Yeah,
he's got the fastest lap.
He has got the fastest lap. That's a little bonus point for him, but yeah, he's had an absolute disaster. No luck at all. Yeah, it's just not gone his way, but he's done a 58.8, which is way quicker than anybody else has managed, but very slim consolation when you're in 17th position, a lap and a half down on the leaders, when he should really be battling for podiums. But there we go. That is his story for today. It's just not happened, but that has been the story of his season, really, hasn't it, for the majority of the races. And I don't think he'll be in a rush to renew his Honda contract for season 5, let's put it that way.
I wonder what the next car will be, because we've seen him run McLaren, we've seen him run a Porsche, we've seen him run a Honda. I was about to say, I wonder if it'll be a German-inspired automobile.
Did he not run a BM for season 1?
He ran a BMW in season 1.
Did he? Apologies.
But I have an inclination, because he told me, that it may be a small Italian outfit you might have heard of.
What, Fiat?
Yeah.
He's going to run a Fiat 500.
He is.
Wow,
He
that's
is.
impressive.
And still take podiums. Such is the talent of the man.
He's going to do it in a Vespa. That's brave.
Indeed. He's going to be running a Lancia Beta Coupe.
Oh, is there any other Italian brands we can think of?
Yeah, he could have been with the one we're looking at right now. It's one of the ones we've forgotten, but that's no fun, is it? We want to talk about crap brands.
Not a Lamborghini sports car, the Lamborghini tractor. That's what he's running next year.
Yes.
Lamborghini yacht.
Clarkson would be proud.
It.
Mooney has retaken the position from Simpson, but Simpson's battling him back here. Oh, it's not straightforward for Mooney. He has got the inside though for this tight left-hander, and then he should have a better run down the straight, but Simpson hangs it around the outside and does get a really good exit, and all of a sudden that Honda power needs to come into play for Mooney. This is a look from Mooney's splitter. He's got a car behind him, a car in front of him.
He's got a literal car behind him, and now the literal car is in front of him.
As they're proper battling away now, three-way for this position. Mooney losing a couple there, but he should have the speed on the Porsche, you would think, but being held up in battling with Simpson has allowed Carr to catch up, and Carr up to 9th now. Fantastic debut drive from him. And I know what I was saying earlier about, us not entering drivers into the championship until they've done more than one race. It's only because we've been bitten in the past by that, but I hope this guy sticks around because he's really impressed me today, Chris Carr, and it would be a shame to lose him because he looks like a real driver. And I think there's been a contact between Heaton and Davis, so let us just take a quick look here. So here's Heaton battling away with Davis. Can't quite tell where they are on circuit. And there was no contact, but there obviously was, and he's let Davis pass, but whatever it was, the replay didn't catch it. But these in a three-way battle now. Artis Millers has caught up to the back of these, and they're in a three-way battle. Just keeping an eye on all the other gaps as well. Simpson holding up Carr, who's holding up Mooney, who's holding up Tickner. Kingston still behind Reed, and this three-way battle then for 13th with Davis leading them. 12th and 13th for the two Rad drivers today, with Richard Arnold in 12th. I think they'll be reasonably pleased with that for a double point finish.
Oh! A little bit of door banging there. Sorry, I got a bit way too excited for that. I thought it was going to be heavy contact.
That's all right. Let's take a look at the replay. So here's Artis Millers trying to get past Matty Heaton. Oh, I don't think the replay is going to get it. I don't
Did my best Gary Neville impression by the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, the replay's cut off too soon, unfortunately. We didn't catch it. But here's Matty Heaton coming
It's
back.
a good job it has.
It is a good job it has, but Artis Millers, he's driving so well today. Such a shame he's had those mistakes. Oh, great run there from...
Oh, wow!
What an exit he had out of that corner. And Matty... Oh, it's contact!
Oh, no!
Artis Miller's making contact, and he should really give the position back there. That was a little bit naughty. You can see the flashing of the lights there from Matty Heaton. He's not happy about that. Michael Mooney into the pits for a 4th time. So that promotes Rich Arnold up to 11th, and that'll promote these guys all up a position as well. But oh, that was such a good move from Heaton. Let us just take a quick look at the replay. I don't think it's caught it again. No, it's missed it again. Oh, here it comes.
This is it, isn't it?
No, it keeps missing it. It's a pain in the neck.
Oh, Mooney in the pits again.
Yeah, I did say that's his 4th trip to the pits today, so he's down to 15th now. He's promoted all these guys up. Back to the live action anyway, and Carr challenging Simpson now. Simpson being held up by a couple of back markers here. Great race today from Simpson. Really pleased for him. He's doing so well. We've seen him a little bit in no man's land at times this season. One of the back markers, I think that's one of the back markers just deciding to get out of the way. Alex McGee decides not to get out of the way in quite the same way, but he also doesn't battle these guys. And Tickner choosing to stick with these guys as well and try and battle. Rich Arnold showing a white flag there. Is he okay? Yeah, he is okay. So here goes Chris Carr. He clearly gets a bit of top speed out of that Porsche than I do. He's making overtakes all over the place. Absolutely fantastic. Artis Miller's with more contact and a yellow flag. So I'm just going to pop to that because it shows that more contact has been made with Matty Heaton. So let's just take a quick look at this replay because I want to see what happens here. So here is Heaton and Millers again. I wonder if he's given a little bit as good as he got. We will see in a second. So here he is chasing down the Aston, and I think that is tit for tat, as they say. It's hard to say anything about that without having a little smirk, but that does appear to be, you know, that thing you just did to me, mate. I'm about to do it to you, and so he did.
Yeah. What's the first rule of NASCAR? Learn to take someone out without taking yourself out. Like Heaton.
Yeah.
Stock car driver confirmed.
So here we are. I've just popped Mooney's stream up because Mooney is battling with Heaton now for that 13th position. But this is Carr getting up past Simpson. Up he goes, up into 8th place on debut. Battling with Simpson now. Even if Simpson does finish 10th, he got absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. He's driven so well today and battled really, really well against these guys. Absolutely fantastic drive from Simpson. Nice, close, clean race in there. But he has lost those 2 positions late on. Oh, Mooney has gone off. I don't know what has happened there. But he has gone off. Let's just leave that and go back to the live action. So Simpson then down to 10th.
Was Mooney got a drive-through again on his YouTube stream? Bottom left.
I can't quite see what it says. It could be track limits, could be a drive-through. Let me see if I can see him. Or is he Mr. Mefferson? Drive-through for track limits, yeah. No, that's for car number 13, race control.
Right.
What number's Mooney? Is he 13?
That is the question.
Where is he? He is number 13, yes, so he's got another drive-through. So that thing that Aaron was on about happening to people where you go off track and you end up with a drive-through for gaining, that is basically what's happened to him. So Ant Brown, sorry, we've barely covered him because he's been on his own for so long, but Ant Brown has won this race on debut. He wins the long endurance race here around Silverstone. Lloyd Reed is still battling with Kingston, but it looks like he's got it covered. It looks like he's going to come home in 2nd place, but never speak too soon. He's coming just towards the end of the final lap
you
now.
can see how hard Kingston's pushing.
He is pushing so hard. He wanted that position, but it wasn't to be. Lloyd Reed takes 2nd. Kingston takes 3rd. Graham Morris is going to come home in 4th. Great drive from Graham. Started 12th. Had a couple of incidents late on, but really got into his groove then in the 2nd phase of the race. And it looks like he's going to come home in 4th position, which is
Heaton and Millers are showing us contact again.
Yeah, I think they've made more contact. I wonder if we can pick it up on a replay. So here is Heaton.
I wonder if it's after they've crossed the line.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
That's almost like a replay from before.
Just ever so slightly after they cross the line, yeah. So Gray Morris does bring it home in 4th. Wes Beekhouse is going to bring it home in 5th position. Dehaan 6th, barring any disasters. Josh Evans 7th. Chris Carr in 8th, but Chris Carr and Tickner battling it right to the finish here for 8th position. Chris Carr is driven brilliantly on debut and finds himself battling away with the Ferrari as he got that straight line speed. The Ferrari will be quicker on the straights. We've seen that. I've experienced it myself. In a second, I'm going to take him on the line. Chris Carr keeps the position by 0.035 of a second from Darren Tickner. What a finish. Another photo finish. We've had a couple of those. We had one recently with Zuber and Rich Arnold as well. Ben Simpson rounded out the top 10. Great drive from Ben. Richard Arnold and Alan Davis in 11th and 12th for the two Rad drivers. Fantastic finish from those. I'm sure they'll be pretty pleased with that, although tantalisingly close to the top 10. Matt Heaton with an eventful 13th, I think we should say. Artis Miller's in 14th. Michael Mooney will be undoubtedly disappointed with 15th after being on the verge of a top 5. Scott Balseeley in 16th, not Scott's day. Another driver whose day it was not is Adam Foster. Luke Barnard also not his day. Couple of incidents, and he finishes down in 18th. Another who probably would have been a contender for a strong top 5. Alex McGee in 19th, Stevens in 20th, Zuber in 21st, and Tonks in 22nd. Those who are not classified are Paul Prescott, Thomas Denman, and Ash Humphreys, 23, 24, and 25, which completes our lineup. So I'm just going to exit out of here and switch over to our multi-screen so we can see everything we need to see, and get everything switched over. Just bear with me, guys. If you want to start asking questions, gentlemen, while I get the everything set up, that would be fantastic.
Are you going an Aaron or am I going first?
I'll let you lead the way, Doug.
I'll start off with Adam. How did you find out? I think you weren't too happy with qualifying to start off with. Felt like you could do better, and then it seemed like it was a frustrating race from your behalf.
Yeah, I had a stinker, mate. Massive stinker, yeah. Qualifying was okay, I guess, but I lift off oversteer in the first part of Maggots and Beckett's. Spun it round. Didn't collect. I collected the wall, gave me a bit of damage, and then fighting back through, Graham tapped my rear end out, and I haven't got the replay, so I can't check that. So someone else will have to. But yeah, that put me into the pits early. Fueled up, hoping this rain was going to come, but I've obviously messed something up in the settings to not let the rain come. And yeah, I had to pit for fuel for the last 30 minutes. I was flying. Absolutely flying on those last 30 minutes, catching Scott like 2.5 seconds a lap. But yeah, it just wasn't my day today in the race, unfortunately.
No, it kind of just went from, without sounding awful, bad to worse kind of thing for you.
It did, yeah.
Fair enough, Eva. Again, you go again next week, I suppose.
I go again. I've got to have a better second half now because that was double points. Did Lloyd hold Alex off?
You did?
Yes, you did, yes.
Good. That means Alex has dropped a little bit of points, but yeah, I've got to get some wins in the second half of this season, otherwise they're going to run away with it.
Do you feel like you've got a win in your system coming? Do you feel it coming?
Yeah, always feel like I've got a couple of wins. maybe one at Suzuka. Never know.
Never know. Well, I'll pass back over to Aaron then. Have you got any questions for
Cheers,
me?
guys.
Cheers, Adam.
Well, I'll go on the flip side of the coin then. I'll go to Graham, if he's there. Graham, you had a little bit of a moment at the beginning of the race. We saw you go off. But somehow, even after probably a slightly disappointing qualifying by your standards after, switching to the Ferrari, you got to be happy with the P4. I think it was P4 in the end. You've got to be happy with the performance and the positions gained and, double points. That's got to be a good result for you.
Yeah, I'm super happy with that. I mean, qualifying, I think because I was late in and I only just joined for quali, I didn't really have the rhythm for quali. That's probably why I didn't really get the time on the board. Looking back at it now, I think I must have grained my tyres a little at the start. But the pace wasn't there in the first stint, really. I was just about half second slower. But then I pitted when I was like 12th or something. And as soon as I put the new tyres on, I was flying, and there must have been a few people ahead who had some incidents. I suddenly wound up in P6 catching Wes and Evans, and obviously then two had issues as well. I'm P4 is a brilliant result. It's flying in
Yeah.
that second stint.
You looked it, to be fair.
Yeah.
That's got to be a massive help in the championship, though. I mean, double points in a race like this, and probably, I imagine after, the first 10-15 minutes where you struggled, it was probably just like, oh, come on, we'll cross the line, let's see what happens. But I can only imagine that you probably weren't expected a P4 at the beginning of the race.
Definitely not. I was just cruising behind Wes after we come out together, and all of a sudden I started catching him. I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" It kind of woke me up. Otherwise, I would have just cruised to the end. But that was yeah. So fun watching them battle, and managed to take advantage of them too, having the incidents there.
No,
So,
well
yeah,
done. I mean,
brilliant.
well done, mate. I mean, obviously unlucky what happened between yourself and Ad, but
Yeah.
it happens, doesn't it?
You don't want to come together with someone. I
No.
mean, I think we've both got different slightly views on it. I don't know. I had my nose there. I wasn't expecting him to take the apex, but maybe it was a bit of a silly place. I don't know. I have to look back at it, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. We didn't need to come together. Obviously, it's just an accident.
No, no one intentionally ever takes anyone
Yeah.
out. I've not seen that in this league ever. So, but either way, for now, very good P4. I think you should be proud of that. And I'll hand over to my two commentators for
Thank you.
another question.
Cheers. I'm going to go to Alan Davis, if that's all right. The bane of my life, as he shall forthright be known after Tuesday's incident. Another great defensive driver. I mean, I know you lost positions, but you drove so well. You defending really well. You must be pleased. Verge of the top 10. He was touching distance, but you had so much coverage tonight because you were just involved in everything. I think there wasn't a car that you weren't involved with tonight. It was great to watch, great drive. I thought you drove really well tonight. So yeah, take us through it.
Yeah, it was. So we had taken a different strategy at Team Rad. We decided to go with a full tank on the hope that the rain might turn up at about 45 minutes to go and we'd get away with a one stop if it did. So we were really heavy, really heavy, which was killing the tyres as well. So an hour and 15 on one set of tyres. I can't remember. I would love to list off all the people I had a great battle with. I think I had a great battle with Dahan at one point, Miller. I spent half the race with Matty on my tow hitch, it felt like. And yeah, I knew I was slower. I had to be slower because we had to preserve the tyres. And it was a case of defending, but not defending too hard. I think I only had one bit of contact in the entire, 2 bits of contact in the entire race, but both were relatively minor. I have to look back at the replays. But yeah, overall really happy. Rich got to the back of the field, so he's made a good recovery as well. Yeah, I don't know what more to say. Really happy with that.
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? When you're defending between defending to the point where you're losing time and costing yourself time, and also not wanting to lose position. It's a fine art, and what you do is very difficult to do. I think people don't always appreciate that. It's not easy to keep driving fast while defending.
Yeah, and you naturally lose time because you're running a different line into a lot of corners and braking in a slightly different place because you're running at a narrow line, for instance, which loses time. I was just praying that Matty was going to back off because I knew Miller was coming for us at the end. And then he decided to do it in the slowest corner then, Matty, but I'll let you off because it all worked out well in the end. But yeah, it was good fun and just great battles from what I saw. Can't remember the name of the new guy that won it, but an absolute awesome drive, and it's great to see some of the new blood doing well.
Yeah, there's plenty of good new blood tonight, but to the old blood, well done, mate. That was a great race and a great to watch. So well done
Cheers,
to you.
mate. Thank you.
Aaron, over to you, my friend.
Cool. I'll go to Matty Heaton. It looked a little bit cagey there at the end between yourself and Miller's. Just I wondered if you thought it was equally as fruity as we did, or if it was just a little bit of tough love.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. So,
It's
firstly,
a kid show. Keep the language down. Keep the language.
No, I'm going to be a gentleman about it. So, I was battling with Alan, incredible battling with Alan in both stints. Managed to get by him in the first, and I thought I could see that his tyres were going off again. Well, I assume it was his tyres going off because I was catching him, and I thought I've done it before. I know I can do it again. And then give him a little bit of a love tap into the last corner. So sorry. Which I just sat there and waited for him to get going, which obviously put Miller's right onto my backside. He made contact with me, got through, and then I was right up on the back of him, and it wasn't even like I knew that there was contact. I must have literally been bumper to bumper, and because I was slightly faster, just caused him to lose grip on the back end. I didn't even know that I was touching him, and that caused him to spin, and then I got that spot, and then there was some not so much sportsmanship after the line, but we don't need to go into that. So apologies for the contact to him completely. There was contact both ways. He made contact with me. I lost the position. Both times unintentional by both parties, I should imagine.
Yeah, I mean, we did catch most of it, and I think we sort of jokingly had a little laugh about it, but at the end of the day, you guys do take this quite seriously, and you can understand and sympathise with both parties as to why you'd be a bit gutted and a bit annoyed. So totally understand the frustrations, but hopefully once all's said and done, I mean, we find nowadays in the Touring Car League just a little apology goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean there was contact at Spa as well where he hit me in the back. He reported me thinking that I was in the wrong. So it's the second time. So yeah, I don't know how much an apology will work, but I will send a message. I will apologise for the contact. But it seemed to kind of work out in the fact that he still finished directly behind me. He didn't lose any positions from the contact. So I think it kind of karmically worked itself out because we both made contact with each other and gained a spot.
True, very true. I suppose let's steer away from that on the complete polar opposite side. I know you were saying on Tuesday night you were sort of semi-struggling for some pace. Did you manage to find a little bit more? Did you feel a little bit more settled, or was it just the same as Tuesday?
Yeah, so I hadn't done any practice since Tuesday at all because of work, new job, just trying to crack on with that. So I didn't do anything yesterday, and it just felt so much better tonight. I don't know why. I just felt more connected to the track because in the car felt more stable on the track. And yeah, the battles were amazing, and it just sort of came together. Although not one of the fastest on the track, it just felt great, and it was, other than the unfortunate events towards the end, was one of my most enjoyable races ever. So it was brilliant.
I don't know if you find it. I mean, I'm like this sometimes, where just stepping away, like having a couple of days away and then coming back, it's almost like it's a different car, but you're not doing anything different yourself.
Yeah, I think I do wonder if I went at it again last night to practice, that I would have potentially got inside my own head because I would have grown more and more frustrated with the fact that, to me, it wasn't feeling right. So yeah, I do think that maybe having last night off put me into tonight's race with a clean slate almost, without me being inside my own head as this is going to go horribly.
Well, I think that's the other thing as well, because of what happened on Tuesday. You've had a night away and you come into Thursday and maybe your hopes aren't as high as what they would have been, and then when you have a decent night like you've had, you almost walk away feeling better for it.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I don't actually know where I finished in the end. I was obviously just battling, and then battling some more. So I don't actually know what the position I was going for in the end. I think it was a few spots outside the top 10, but I'm not really sure.
I think you're about right. I think it was about 12th, around that area, or that zone of the field. But yeah, I mean, hats off to you, mate. I thought you did pretty decent considering how much you thought you were struggling on Tuesday.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll take that result all day long.
Good lad, mate. Good lad. Right, I'll hand over to Dougie, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I'll go to Rich. Rich, talk us through it. How was that 2 hours long race for you?
turn the mic on. Yeah, I'm knackered after that. That was a tough one. Firstly, hats off to Alan for kind of not forcing the strategy on me, but kind of opening my eyes to it. That if we think for late rain, then loading up with fuel and just going for it would pay off. And all right, the rain didn't come in the end, but we ended up quite light with fresh tyres on sort of 45 minutes to go, and that really helped, especially seeing as the Honda, for some reason, we didn't really feel the tyres go off. We felt that we were heavy and had to save tyres, and we were tyre saving, so being careful not to spin up the rears and all that kind of thing. But the car felt really good, and I had some silly contact with Ash really early on, which was completely my fault. I just outbroke myself going into the chicane. Sort of unfortunately took him out and sort of waited for him, but then obviously got held back, got put to the back. But then coming through from sort of 23rd to finish 11th, I'm over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon. I wasn't expecting that at all tonight.
Should be really happy with that. It's good.
Really. I was not expecting that. With fairly strong qualifying, and was going pretty well, and then having that contact, I just assumed that was it. It was game over. It was obviously something else. Probably have more contact later on, or spin or whatever. But after that, got my head down and just went for it. And as I say, the strategy worked out perfectly, and would not have guessed at a P11. So I'm beaming. That's over the moon. But
so in the second stint, did you feel a bit more confident to go at it with being lighter and?
Yeah, completely. I mean, I don't know whether you guys caught it, but there was a point when some of the front guys had pitted, and sort of they come out with me and Alan, and I think Reed was there. I think Barnard was there. And there was 5 of us all absolutely going for it, and me and Alan were on our old tyres at this point, and still with some fuel left, and these guys were all on.
We caught it. We caught it. With it.
It was some of the best racing I've had. Was brilliant, but also with kind of not feeling like I had to come out on top of that, because we were definitely on the back foot. So just racing with those guys and having literally cars going left, right, and center. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But second stint came out. Obviously, the temperatures had dropped a little bit, so the tyres were a little bit better. We had fresh tyres for the last 45 minutes, so everyone else was on 15-minute long old tyres, and we were light on fuel. So for the last bit, we were flying. It was great fun. Really felt like we could keep up pace with sort of the guys further up the field. And I mean, it's difficult in endurance to try and work out where what has all happened to the other drivers. Obviously, we'd seen Adam drop in and then go into the pits for a second time. So obviously, something happened there. I'm not quite sure what happened to Mooney. He suddenly appeared with sort of 3 laps to go.
I think the track limits bit him a bit, didn't it? If I remember right.
He underfueled as well, I think.
He underfueled and had 2 drive-throughs, so he had a bit of a disaster.
I mean, it's so funny when you're driving and you're not talking to anyone, and all you've got is your little, timing board, which has got maybe 10 names on it, and you're trying to figure out what's happened and who's in the lead and what's going on. You have no idea. So the coverage tomorrow will be fun to watch.
Definitely tune in tomorrow, but I'll pass over to Mike to finish off.
Yeah, I think we just got Lloyd, our second place finisher tonight, left to speak to. Great drive, mate. I mean, it looked a little bit like it was just going to be sort of a bit of an average day for the first half of the race, and maybe 4th or 5th or 6th, and all of a sudden it was a battle for a podium, and then that battle with Kingston, it looked like he had you covered, and then all of a sudden you seemed to find another gear. You battled him back, got him back again, and second, and kept him behind. Absolutely brilliant drive, mate. Congratulations first of all, and take us through it.
Thank you. I must admit, I'm still shaking. That was a hell of a race. I mean, I knew I was pretty quick here. Personally, I'm glad it didn't rain, but the problem I had practically all the race, my rear left tyre was just sitting at about 81, 82 all the time. Even after the pit stop adjusting it still went straight up. So it was causing quite a bit of oversteer in certain places. But it's a shame to see Adam go off. And Kingston, obviously, Kingston's just more consistent. I was just making, braking a little bit late and maybe accelerating a bit early and that sort of stuff. So he was not pulling away, but he was getting away a little bit. And it all seemed to change after the pit stop. And I guess I come out in front of Alex, so I don't know if he had some damage he had to repair.
He made a mistake on his outlap and at Maggots and Beckett's and went straight over the grass. So it probably cost him about 5-6 seconds.
Ah, right, okay. So yeah, that was I thought the timings were all wrong, and then yeah, I mean second place. I was like, what the hell? But then when I'd come out, obviously I'd caught Alan, and I was just like, how is it about 65, 70 minutes in, and he's not pitted? It's like, because surely he'd be miles behind, because he was genuinely in front of me position wise. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I think it's Darren is coming right up close to me, giving me pressure, and I was like, oh my god, come on, Alan, come on. So I've tried to take him in one of the corners, but I'm not too sure what happened. I thought I held my line, and then he's caught my side and sort of. I've seen him go down to places, and I was like, oh shit. I really hope I didn't hit anything. I was just desperate to get the places, and it was kind of one of those things, do or die, basically. So yeah, I'll have to look at the replay of that, but I genuinely thought I did nothing wrong, but something happened. So, but yeah, and then
Oh boy. Kingston
obviously must have got past him and come up to the back of me when I was just making a few odd mistakes here and there. I did feel like I'm just fighting for third here. There's no way I'm going to keep this, and he eventually got past after a little mistake. But I did notice that I think he was struggling with tyres a little bit, because there was a few places where he was just losing the rear a little bit. And yeah, just through Maggots, I just saw the opportunity. I was like, come on, just get this line. And then just shot out. And how on earth I held it after that, I don't know. I mean, he was getting right up close. Then I'd do a good lap and I'd sort of pull away a little bit. Then I'd make a tiny mistake, he'd come at the back, and it was just like a little yo-yo all the rest of the race, really.
Yeah, it was great to watch, because it was very much like you're saying. It was to and fro in, and it was very difficult to tell. One slight mistake from either of you would have been the difference.
That's all it was going to take. I mean, he ran into the back of me at some point after Abbey, I think, on the tight right-hander. I don't know why all night I've been struggling with that turn, whereas I've never really had a problem before. So I was having to drop down to first just to kind of feel like I wasn't going to understeer or oversteer around the corner. And I think I've just caught him out, and he's tried to brake a bit late. And in my desperation, I'm trying to keep the race in line and everything. So, no, all credit to him. He didn't use that to his advantage, carried on racing. But yeah, I mean, with about 6 minutes to go, I just thought, could it be? And then on the last lap, I just couldn't believe it. Literally, I've shot downstairs shaking.
It's a shame.
I just can't believe what happened.
It's a shame that new guy was so fast, really. Otherwise, it probably would have been for a race win. Well, audio's gone.
Lloyd, you've muted yourself.
There we go. Yeah, absolutely. Thoroughly enjoyed the race. Personally glad it didn't rain, but yeah, I agree with Rich. Absolutely exhausting, sweating my nuts off.
Yeah, it's a tough old business. It's a tough old track as well, isn't it? People think because it's got long straights that it's easy, but it's actually quite demanding as a track. Silverstone generally.
I was trying to sort out the tyre pressures for the pit schedule, and it just made me realise how short them straights are. As soon as you sort of look, you're kind of ready to start braking again. So when you've got the pit schedule up as well, you can't see left, and it's quite distracting, I must say. But the tyres did cause me some jip tonight, but I think everyone was struggling a little bit from it. But yeah, hats off to everyone for doing that amazing race. Hats off to Alex, and also I think it's Ant, the new guy. Jesus, he was 40 seconds ahead at the end or something.
He was, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
great
brilliant
run for him. But all the new guys did well, to be fair. And Card finished 9th, I think, at the end. Or was it 8th, just by a gnat's wing? So great to see some new blood, and absolutely great race. I mean, I'll be honest, I think we came into it expecting it to be a little bit dull tonight, as we said pre-show. It does happen with with endurance races. The field gets a bit spread out, and we have to wait for that bit of jeopardy, whether it be in a pit stop or a back marker or something to make it exciting. But there was action from the start to the finish. At least somewhere in the field there was something going on. It was absolutely one of the best races we've called.
You didn't even need the rain.
I still wanted it. I'm never happy.
Did you see how dark it got towards the end? I was looking at it going, are you sure this isn't going to rain? It's coming.
I'm going
Yeah,
extreme
I
next
was-
time. I'm going extreme. I'm going to make sure it rains.
Yeah, do it. Because it was brilliant anyway without the rain, but it would have been good to have it. But anyway, what can I say? Thank you to all the drivers, and congratulations to everyone, whether you finished first or last, you finished. And a 2-hour race, that is not an easy thing, especially when you've had a bit of a stinker or whatever. It happens to the best of us. But well done for finishing. Thank you for taking part. Thank you to all the people who watched, particularly Dominic Engel for his 87,000 comments and messages. Particularly when I was asking him, what's happening with the weather, and
We miss you, Dom.
why have they done this, Dom? Tell me, what's this tactic all about? He's our version of Ted Kravitz and Martin Brundle combined. So we've named him Martin Kravitz just for that very purpose. But thank you very much for all of you for watching. Thanks to all the drivers taking part. Thanks to everybody for coming into the comments box. Thanks to my 2 co-commentators. It was lovely to have both of them this week, and we look forward to Suzuka next week. As we said earlier, the rest of the calendar this season is basically pornography. It's absolutely amazing. Suzuka, Nürburgring, Imola. I'm basically in dreamland, so I cannot wait. Thank you